too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Tuesday night, it's the Full Send Racing Series. The Xfinity cars are ready for some racing action at Iowa. Less than a mile in length, but the action is expected to be high intense and drivers searching for the speed to be up front, as it's the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs here at Iowa Speedway. Cannot wait to give you all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Trevor Earhart. And Trevor, 4 races in, we got to see the strategy, the big one, striking last week at Michigan. But tonight, a little bit of a smaller track. It's going to be our smallest of the season.
Smallest of the season here at Iowa. Still can see a little bit of strategy with some late race pit stops, maybe some cautions, tire strategy down the line. Who knows what we're going to see, but we're going to be in for a good race. And a lot of drivers showing up here tonight at this smaller than 1 mile oval. We're going to be in for one heck of a show.
That we will, and what's even better is that this is one of the biggest fields of the season. 39 drivers expected to be taking the green here tonight. Currently, it's Ross Tatum, winner earlier in the season of the 21, who's going to find himself in first place. Brian McCann in second, currently on the board as the 8 machine, the hottest driver out on the series. He's got 2 wins so far, but everyone's searching and practicing for the grip. The exit of turn 4 going to be a tricky spot this evening once we get green, but also the weather could be a factor to talk about as the sun is starting to set. They are going to be seeing how this weather impact is going to be hurting them or maybe even helping them this evening, as currently right now maybe at temperature 77 degrees, track temp 82, and expecting it to cool off as we're about to enter qualifying in 2 minutes, and it's going to cool off even more into the actual race stint, which tonight's race being the Iowa Corn 190. We're running 190 laps. Got a stage break at lap 55, but tonight's race early in the season still, it's only race 5 of the regular season. We're marching closer to the halfway point, Trevor. There's a couple of drivers of note that we really got to watch out for that need big nights if they want to get back into a chance to fight for a championship and get into the playoffs, while others just trying to find that consistency.
Yeah, you got to look at drivers like Cole Sacchetti, who's had some bad luck at the start of the season, finding himself way down there in the point standings, just trying to march his way back up toward the front to hopefully get himself into the playoffs. And this could be a good track for Cole, but I think Sam, based off of last week, going to have a penalty, going to have to start at the back of the field here tonight.
And joining Cole Sacchetti with the penalty, going to be Chris Stevens, both involved with the massive big one that happened last week because of over-the-radio conversations between the drivers getting a little bit too hot and heated. Race control had to take away their conversation and ability to chat in sim, which then forced this series to make the decision, okay, you guys pushed the limit too far. It even extended past that of the on-race simulation. So we are going to be penalizing you, both the 14 and the 42, going to be hit with end-of-the-line penalties when they start the race, which, with so many drivers here tonight, that could be a massive change on how you work your way through this track, because Iowa, known for being a one-lane course at times, even though it's wide enough to have 3 separate lanes. It's interesting on how the driver's going to be having to find that extra grip, because the dirty air is going to be a big talking point here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these cars are going to handle tonight. Will they be loose? Will they be tight? How much of an effect will that dirty air have on these guys throughout the track? And you're right, this can get to be one lane. You can use 2 through 1 and 2. There's a big bump on the top line that you have to be careful about avoiding, and then through 3 and 4 you can run the bottom, you can run the top. But how's that car going to grip up on the exit of 4 to get the power down the front straightaway?
And with all these drivers getting that last minute practice, and we are now entering qualifying for the drivers, where each driver going to have 2 laps to put down their fastest time, and they have 5 minutes to put down those qualifying laps. If you do not put a qualifying lap in within the 5 minutes, you will be starting at the tail end of the field. And if there's a large group of drivers that decide not to put a time in, it will be based off of your iRating number on who is going to be furthest ahead and where you'll be marched on the qualifying grid. As drivers get prepared to take their attempts at qualifying, I want to give a huge shout out. Thank you to everyone joining here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're happy to have you on our Tuesday night, especially with a lot of iRacing that's going on this evening. We're happy to have all of you join with us. And as well, I want to give a huge shout out to the major sponsors here. Just going to be a quick breeze. We'll talk about them more in depth later on in the race, that being ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, that of Grinsim Studios, and On the Throttle Podcast, for being the major sponsors, helping out for the Full Send Racing Series, and allow us to be up in the booth and call the racing action as qualifying is now officially underway.
Qualifying underway. Chris Stitz out there getting his first lap times in, and qualifying is going to be important here tonight, Sam. With the number of cars out on track, you're going to want to be up there toward the front of this field with how potentially hard it could be to get passes done.
And that's Chris Stitz going to be trying to put a lap down to beat Ross Tatum. First lap in for the 21 going to be at 23.777, as the 17 going to be setting up first lap for Chris Stitz. 4th on the board, going to be 0.3 off of Ross Tatum. Expecting to find some extra speed as they're maximizing the amount of levels they can utilize on this track. Don't want to touch the wall. If you graze the wall, you could be invalidating your lap time, and off the exit of turn 4. The 17's hoping for the pull. Ross Tatum's fastest lap was the first one, and for the 17, able to move up, but not enough to take the pull as Ross Tatum holds steady. Brian McCann almost taking the pole. He'll fall short in 2nd place, but the driver to watch out for. This series has only been here at Iowa twice. Back in Season 1 and Season 2, it was Ken Campbell that found himself in a victory lane for both times. 15 off the exit of the corner, setting up for the start of lap number 2. That first lap was hoping for a good one, but lap 2 comes across the line, and it's 3rd fastest for Ken Campbell.
At close, but not quite close enough. It's going to be 3rd quickest. I believe that's Steven Bustler in the 00 coming off the turn 4. It's a little bit loose. And Sam, I mean, those are some quick lap times, but Ken just so close to getting there to Ross Tatum. And I mean, he used every bit of that racetrack as Andrew Medlin coming off of 4 to see where he's going to place the 12 machine.
12 machine hoping for a good run for himself. First lap going to be good enough for 12th position for the 12 car, as it's a big surprise moving up in the board after the 2nd lap. Brandon Colley up to 4th. Travis Dart, who's been quite quick during qualifying times, hoping that the 26 will move up in the board quickly, and he does. Pole position for Travis Dart.
I mean, Travis has that sneaky one lap speed. Not surprised at all to see him get the pole. Medlin completes his second lap, going to move him up to 8th. But Travis Dart on the pole currently knocks off Ross Tatum. We'll have to see here if anybody has anything for him.
And who could be sneaky enough to steal that time? Thought maybe his brother could do it, but falling down to 6th was John Dart. Other drivers that are still hoping to put some times in this 4 machine of Dave McConnell on his first lap, hoping to move further up on the board, as this first lap is going to be critical. We've seen drivers put their fastest times on the first lap, sometimes it's been on the second. Very wiggly off the exit of turn 4, and it looks like this first lap might be the best one the 4 can have, and it's going to be good enough for 23rd. He's got 1 minute and 25 seconds left. Here is last season's champion, Zach Hall. Oh, not very confident was the 32 I've talked to him throughout the week, getting prepared for this race. Not sure if he's going to be a heavy favorite to get into victory lane, but he knows that qualifying's where he needs to work on to find that extra speed. First lap going to be a 32nd position best for Zach Hall, but here we go. Second lap looks to be the quickest for the 32.
Yeah, I used every bit of racetrack there out of turn number 2 into 3 and 4. Going to dive it all the way down to the yellow line. Hopefully it sticks for him as he gets on the throttle, and hopefully the back end doesn't step out on him. And again, all the way out to the wall. We'll see where this puts the 32 as he crosses the line for his second lap, and all the way up to 5th position there for Zach Hall. So a great improvement for himself.
Cracking the top 10, going to bounce his teammate outside of the top 10. Christopher Norris moves down to 11th. And that looks to be everyone deciding to qualify. Those deciding not to, it's going to be Christopher Melton, Curtis Valechka, Peter Dillon, and Cole Sacchetti. Those are the 4 drivers deciding just sit in pit road and wait for the clock to click down. 20 seconds left in qualifying before we get to racing action, which will be 190 laps here this evening. Stage break at the end of lap 55. No fast repairs and 4 sets of extra tires in pit road to work with. Trevor, this first 55 laps, I know for a lot of people it's unsure of what we're going to be seeing for these drivers. I think this is going to be a good picture of what we could be seeing a lot here tonight on the fact of, can you make a lot of aggressive passes in these first couple laps with this fresh rubber?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of aggression in those first laps, especially from drivers further on back in the field to try to get up. And then, you know, if this thing runs green at this stage at 55 laps, it could be a really good indication of who's going to be good in the long run with the ability to save their tires.
Well, as the drivers have gotten done with qualifying, it's time to take a look at our qualifying results. Taking the pole award, it's the 26 of Travis Dart. In second, we'll go to Ross Tatum in the 21 machine. The 2-time winner of Brian McCann, the rookie, going to be starting in third. Ken Campbell, the driver that's won here in the past, the only driver to win here in the past, going to be starting in fourth. Fifth goes the last season champion of Zach Hall. Brandon Colley, who's one of his best qualifying times of the season. 99 is going to start in sixth. John Dart in 7th. Trey Jackson going to be in the 88 machine here this evening, no longer filling in. Going to be starting in 8th position for himself. Alex Jones, great qualifying time for 45 in 9th. And Andrew Medlin going to be finishing out your top 10.
Christopher Norris will be in 11th with Cameron Sarton in 12th. Chris Stintz will start in 13th with Jacob Grant in 14th. Rob Sherwood will roll off 15th with Nick Holland in 16th. Will Bustler will start in 17th position with Christopher Wade in 18th. Ryan Lynch 19th, and Dalton Alexander will be in 20th.
In 21st is Joshua Altus in the 94. In 22nd position, the 101 of Philip Chavez. 23rd spot goes to the 55 of Sam Siegel. Going to see Sam out there on track. In 24th position, it's the 10 of Jay Beckard. In 25th, the 4 of Dave McConnell going to be settling in at 25th position. 26 goes to 7 of Cedric Hunter. Chris Stevens qualifies 27th, but will be hit with EOL starting at the end of the line. And then in 28th, the 6th of Jonathan Burt. Tony Brent going to be in 29th position. In finishing our top 30, it's William Duff.
Brian Wilson will roll off 31st with Tyler Thomas 32nd. Stephen Bustler will be at 33rd. Jonathan Woods in 34th. Doug Pierce will start 35th with Cole Sacchetti in 36th. Christopher Melton, Curtis Valechka, and Peter Dillon will round out our 39 drivers here tonight, as those 3, along with Cole Sacchetti, did not put in a lap time here in qualifying.
And with the drivers starting back there, you also got to see race control giving us the information. Drivers going to the end of the line. Like we said, Cole Sacchetti, Chris Stevens, both will be sent to the end of the line. Big shout out to Steve Benjamin running race control this evening. You'll be seeing the updates in your bottom center of anyone being penalized, penalties being clear, as well as updates throughout the race. But up front, going to be Travis Dart, Ross Tatum up front, ready to get rolling here this evening. Trevor, this field expecting a lot, but man, gotta give huge kudos to Travis Dart once again, always on it at qualifying, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, he's been super quick in qualifying, and I got to say, the longer runs have been a lot more improved from the 26 this season. Think back to Dover, another concrete track where it took a lot to save some tires in the long run. He was quick, so interesting to see if he'll take that same approach here tonight here at Iowa.
That goal last week, hoping that maybe he can find a better finish here tonight. Victory lane is the ultimate goal for some. Others, it's just finish this race. It's going to be a long one, 190 laps in total length, but we do have a stage break at the end of lap 55 where the top 10 finishers at that stage break will be earning bonus points for themselves. The Full Sun Racing Series Season 5, Race 5, and we got about to get underway. Welcome to the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs. Into the restart zone, green flag is out, and here we go as it's going to be the 21, the 26, side by side. Ross Tatum, Travis Dart down into turn number 1.
And Travis is going to try to use that outside line to get a better drive off of turn number 2 to get the run on Ross Tatum, and does that out of turn number 2. He's going to clear the 21, so Ross is going to have to settle in for second. Ken Campbell, Ryan McCann, they're still going to be battling back there for third position. Campbell on the outside, McCann on the inside. McCann comes up just a little bit, but Campbell just nowhere to go as he's boxed in behind the 21 there of Ross Tatum.
Stuck, but not in the worst spot to be, as Travis Dart leads lap number 1 for the 26 machine. Been hearing drivers say, you want the clean air, you feel the most comfortable, you can save the tires the best, and everyone else trying to figure out where else you could find that extra little bit of grip from the air that maybe will assist you later on. As the 26 tries to pull away, Ross Tatum, great qualifying time, but will Ross do a normal Ross thing? Back off, give up the space? It's looking like right now, Trevor, Ross wants to stay in the fight.
Yeah, I think Ross is going to want to stay in that clean air, or stay at least as close as he can to the 26 there of Travis Dart, but he's got, I mean, some hungry drivers behind him. Ken Campbell, Brian McCann, Zach Hall, and those guys chasing him down.
And here's going to be the Brian McCann screen and the cam on the bottom. It's no longer just the Andrew Medlin cam. We got plenty of other drivers that wanted to be involved. And for Brian, he was trying to get his camera set up for the last couple of weeks. Finally got it done here for Iowa. And what a track to have a camera, because you can clearly see his direct drive wheel and how much he's going to be working the wheel all tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting arrested at all down that straightaway, Sam. It looked like down the back he was still working that wheel left and right, going down the back straightaway. And you can see here down the front straightaway just how much movement he's having to put into that wheel just to keep that car going in a straight line.
Yeah, and that force feedback, that's what you're seeing. A lot of movement on the straightaway, feeling every little piece of the bump. When these cars feel loose, you can feel that sensation in the wheel, and each driver with the direct drive wheel gives you the most input. A lot of drivers enjoy having the direct drive, but it takes a lot of money to get to this point, and that 8 machine putting the money in, and it's been showing this season, as he has already won 2 races. It's set up in the top 5 currently right now, looking good for himself, but the battling for side-by-side. Trey Jackson, the 88, the 99, Brandon Colley, side-by-side for themselves.
Yeah, Trey Jackson got a really good run at it too, got to the outside of Brandon Colley there down the back straightaway, just wasn't able to get it done. Maybe looking to go for a crossover move here into turn 1, but thinks better of it, backs out of it. But Trey Jackson, you're no longer filling in. He's had some good runs when he was filling in for the 55 of Sam Siegel, and now back in the 88 machine, so we'll have to wait. We'll have to see how Trey's going to do here tonight.
I mean, Trey, just based off of running, comes in tonight 14th in points, just 6 points out, trying to run down Chris Stitz and Joshua Altus to get by them to move into our top 12 in points. Top 12 drivers making into the playoffs. Get a win, you are automatically locked in, and 3 drivers have already done that this season, being Brian McCann, Ross Tatum, and Tony Brent, who won back at Daytona. And this 88 was a fill-in driver, but honestly has been looking just great this season, being up front, always contending for a top 15, top 10 run. And I'm excited to see what this 88 is going to have here tonight, currently in 7th position.
Yeah, excited to see what Trey's going to bring if he decides to run full time. I mean, he's shown a lot of speed, has had a couple of bad run-ins, but had a really good showing, I believe, back at Daytona as we get the Medlin cam up for you. You see how much Andrew's having to work that wheel as he tries to find a way around that 88 of Trey Jackson. All
the different camera views that we get to see from these drivers, and Medlin, we always talk about the focus, and that thing for every driver, they are on max focusness here in the early portions. 10 laps in today's race. Get stage break at the end of lap 55. Top 10 drivers get bonus points, and it's 12 machine, seeing the hands work. This track is so bumpy, and I think it's deceivingly bumpy for drivers, especially for viewers. You don't visually see the bumps, but the drivers feel every single one of them. Trevor, that's an aspect I feel like for viewers you don't always get to see, is the track and how aggressive it is. As we hop on board with our leader right now, Travis Dart, his camera, while he's trying to hold off the Season 3 champion of Ross Tatum.
Yes, the one thing that you can't really see as the viewer, but I can attest to as a driver, the bumps from the scans that iRacing has done are there, and they're pretty profound, and you can see it with when we were on board with McCann, on board with Medlin. Is Tatum going to go for the inside here? Travis Dart, you can see it in Travis's wheel. So he has to make a little bit of corrections, but Travis is going to try to hold that on the outside again, gets a really good drive off and defends that first position there from Ross Tatum.
You can see slight jolts on the back stretch, but each driver, they can change up how much force feedback if they want to feel the aggressive bumps or not, and how much of an arm workout you want to have this evening as Travis Dart holds on, defends Ross Tatum. To what was interesting about that battle, the different lanes that were being used. It looks like Tatum feels a lot more comfortable on the outside through 3 and 4, trying to stay low through 1 and 2. Interesting to see how drivers already find that difference, but yellow strikes, first one of the day. And it's the 39 of Doug Pierce back in 36th position. Spun around off the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Doug there, but hard contact with the outside wall and might have to come down and get some of that front end damage fixed. We've seen, we saw it last week in Michigan, how sensitive the front ends can be on these cars. So Doug's gonna have to come down and get that fixed. And we can take a look here and see what happened. Might have been some contact with the 14 of Stevens, and it looks like Stevens just got in a little too deep there, Sam.
I mean, that's the difference when you send one of these faster drivers that's known for being a top 20, top 15 speed with these drivers that are further in the back. Got a little bit of a difference in when they got their braking zones and when they don't. Looking back now from Doug Pierce's point of view, you see the 14 just much more aggressive on the entry and center of the corner. Well, Doug Pierce was just trying to make it through and just survive these first couple of laps. Instead, caught up with the first caution of the day. And with the time of this yellow, going to be 13 laps into this run. Curious if anyone's going to take tires. Again, they've got 4 sets of extra tires in pit road to work with tonight. Do you risk using one here in the first 15 laps of a race?
That's what I was wondering. A couple people decided to come down pit road. David McConnell in the 4, Chris Stevens, who we just saw make that contact with Doug Pierce. He comes down. Doug Pierce, obviously, Chris Melton in the 93. So those 4 drivers all coming down pit road. Interested to see if any of them took tires, but not a terrible strategy call there, Sam, to come down this early. But I mean, that's a lot of cars that they're going to have to work their way through.
It very much is, and it looks to be tires for the 4 of Dave McConnell and for Chris Stevens. Doug Pierce, checking to get 100% confirmation if he's taking tires, but I believe the 39 might be thinking about just taking tires. Yes, he is. Can confirm. So 3 drivers taking their first set in just the first 15 laps. And as well, some of them getting damage repair, so that's going to be crucial to be grabbing for themselves. And for Chris Stevens, he used the bumper, but now I'm curious on how well he's going to be able to move through this field now that he's got that slightly extra grip to work with.
Yeah, that's going to be one I'm going to have to definitely keep my eye on as he works his way through the back and see what kind of speed difference there's going to be between him on fresh tires and everybody out there, on 14-lap old tires. And what that could possibly mean for these guys that he passes. It could be something for them to learn for later on in the race with the difference in tires.
And looking at the laps that were being placed down, I mean, Travis Dart, Ross Tatum, looking at their laps, they were battling between one another right before that yellow flag came out, but they were running about a half second slower than what their fastest times were in the first couple of laps. So this could already be a big advantage, especially with the bumps, the way this track naturally wants to flow, and drivers that maybe are being a little bit too aggressive up front. Could be a big advantage taking this set for Chris Stevens, David McConnell, and for Doug Pierce to get back into this race. Currently, though, we've got a couple of drivers really fall back and struggling. Chris Stitz has fallen back 5 positions in 18th position. He started in 13th, and a driver that qualified in 11th, Christopher Norris, has already lost 10 positions for the 38. See if he can get back into the mix as drivers are stacking up, about to get back to green flag racing. Some of the biggest movers, Jay Beckard and Cedric Hunter in 19th and 20th, up 5 positions for Beckard and 6 for Hunter.
Yeah, I expect to see that 7 of Cedric Hunter if he can keep the nose clean, to see him continue to work his way up through the field. Not at all surprising. The same with Jay Becker. I mean, he's had sneaky speed this season. Same, just been caught up in some wrecks. So that 7 and the 10 I think they're going to continue their march through the field, but you're going to have to watch out for as well McConnell, Melton, and Stevens on those fresh tires to see what they're going to do on this restart.
In this race start, who save their tires better than the others? This could be a big swing for drivers that are around that 7th, 8th spot. Did you save enough to attack on this restart? Pace car pulling off into pit road. It's the 26 of Travis Dart, the Ross Tatum of the 21, getting the green flag signal, and we're back to racing action for the Iowa Corn 190, and the 26 is gone and dusted. Already going to be 2 car lengths ahead over Ross Tatum.
Yeah, that advantage of being able to go in the restart zone when you feel like as the leader worked out to the advantage there of Travis Dart. Brian McCann able to clear the 15 to Ken Campbell and hold on to that 3rd position. But you can already just see the difference in lines. Tatum again going to that top line through 3 and 4 to try to get a better run. Travis Dart staying on the bottom. It's going to work out for Tatum as he's continuing to close that gap for the battle for the lead. But Zach Hall here, Sam, going for a move here on the 99 of Brandon Colley.
Not going to happen, and it's the big one through 1 and 2. Jay Becker, Cedric Connor, and others tumbling is Brian Wilson as he just got slingshot into the air, and in an instant it all went up in smoke for these drivers in the middle of the pack.
Two weeks in a row, another big one, Sam, and I think we just had a car flip, and I don't even think we had a car flip last week at Michigan when it was a 2-mile racetrack. We're less than a mile, we have cars upside down.
This is one of the most bizarre flips I think we're ever going to see, and it's just one of those wrecks where drivers are entering the corner, gets a little bit too aggressive with Jay Beckard, who then gets into Christopher Wade, and with 2 to 3 drivers sliding up, it is chaos. But the driver's got to watch out for is Christopher Wade. There's going to be a major slingshot of a driver blinking out, and it just ripples across into the 9 who is coming in. And you see there, the 6 gets rippled back into the 9, sends him tumbling and barrel rolling over Philip Chavez. And it's just one of those bizarre moments where sometimes iRacing physics just confuses everybody.
I think a little bit of the physics, maybe a little bit of internet connection, and poor Brian Wilson. I think, Sam, looking at that replay, I think Brian's going to make it through that wreck until things happen, and then he's not so good and he's upside down.
Yeah, it looked to be one driver just toes, and then it just slingshots the 6 into the 9, and he has no way to react. That is just, hey, that's a video game situation right there. You have zero idea if that's going to happen. It does. And now the big one strikes. We got 4 drivers with required damage, a lot more into pit road, a little bit of deja vu of the big one striking after our first yellow from last week. And now we could see these drivers maybe settle in, as that of poor 6 of Jonathan Burt going to be out of this race most likely. He's got major required damage. Christopher Wade also with required damage, and Brian L. Wilson has already left the server. There's no way to react to that incident except for just throw your hands up in the air and say it's just not my week.
Yeah, I think if you're Brian Wilson, I think you just gotta go back and look at that. Either in Sim, if he's already left, I think you gotta go back at the broadcast and just look at that and laugh. I mean, we went from a simulation to a video game moment in a matter of seconds for poor Brian Wilson. And I gotta say, Sam, I feel bad for Cedric and Jay Becker. I was hyping them up before the restart. Cursing the commentator struck, and both of them involved in that wreck.
We try to keep our mouth shut when we see drivers that have been having the pattern being caught up in incidences, but sometimes we just got to point out that when they're having a good day, and like I said, the commentator's curse can wind up hitting, and it did there. And now the driver's got to be taking a deep breath, realizing we're about to hit the halfway marker before this stage break is done. Again, we still have the stage break at the end of lap 55 after that bizarre moment. And up front, it's been Travis Dart, Ross Tatum, the front 2 drivers that were going to have to come into pit road, get required damage done, or just getting damage in general done. That's all the way from 26th position back to 39th. So that's around 13 drivers, maybe even more, that some drivers decided not even come into pit road and deal with damage. That's almost the same total that we had last week at Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's right there, maybe a couple cars less than what we had in Michigan, but I mean, that's what happens. You have these big fields like this, and great turnouts week in, week out, but just one little mistake, and especially here at Iowa when it's less than a mile of track and on a restart nonetheless, it can stack up a lot of cars, and we saw it right there.
And with that incident, drivers, like I said, calm down, reset. Bizarre moments here at Iowa, the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs. The first 20 laps of this race is already had some major storylines with Travis Dart getting, now counting tonight, 2 poles. We've got the pole last week at Michigan and tonight defending over Ross Tatum. Had ourselves a quick caution that brought out our first yellow with Doug Pearson, Chris Stevens. Now the big one strikes with a very awkward and bizarre moment you never get to see very often, but is possible here in the sim world virtually. And now the drivers stack up, hoping that they can let the big one slide in the back of their mind, and we can focus up, get ready, because there's still a lot of racing here this evening. Hopefully you're buckling in and ready for all the action here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up at the booth, as always, here on Tuesday nights is Trevor Earhart, and in the booth, every single broadcast, Rated Productions, it's Robert Moyer Jr. Thank you from here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting for being with us. As the drivers stacked up, ready to go, pace car lights are off. The Full Send Racing Series, race 5 for season 5, about to get back underway. We saw the 26 have a fantastic restart on the last go around. Let's see if he can hit that number right here for his second restart of the evening. Pace car is off into the restart zone, and Travis Dart, Ross Tatum, here we go, another round, sending it into turn number 1.
Yeah, another great restart there from Travis Dart. Again, getting a good jump over Ross Tatum. Campbell and McCann going to be doing battle for 3rd and 4th, and Campbell drifts up just a little bit. It's going to open the door for McCann, but he's going to have a bad run, and it's going to allow Brandon Colley now to get to the inside of the 8.
Almost thinking about 3 wide, and as well, side by side for the lead is Ross Tatum trying to get the better exit out of turn number 4. Dart almost in the outside wall, but has the better run. They're going to be 3 wide back for 5th place, and it's Colley who will fall back into the clutches, a 7th position to 6th position for himself. Zach Hall ripping the 3rd lane, finding out that there's a lot more speed up there than he thought. Gonna be right on the back bumper of his teammate, not able to give the bump, but he might have to stay in that 3rd lane, and he will. Gassing it up early, and Zach Hall making the 3rd lane work, and oh no, contact! Ken Campbell, Brian McCann, as they'll see the 15 sliding into the grass.
Oh. That, I mean, 3 wide racing at Iowa, not something you see a lot, and a little bit of contact. I think McCann just got a little tight out of 4 there, drifts up into Campbell, and a nice lazy slide into the grass there for Campbell. Not a lot of damage done to that 15 machine, but a lot of track position lost right here before the stage.
And just one simple tap, and away the 15 goes into the grass as 3 cautions into our first 30 laps of this race. We're not even to lap 30. As we are just cresting to the halfway of this stage run. I mean, Trevor, as we're getting the replay up here shortly, the big thing, I think, for this run, I'm kind of shocked in the fact that we've had these 3 wrecks happen. Our longest run was our first initial start of the race, where it looked like maybe we had a good chance to see the 15 getting tapped by the 8, spinning him around. And that's what brought out our 3rd caution of the day.
Yeah, just looks like he just got tight there. I mean, yeah, Ken definitely giving room to Zach off the top there, and McCann. I mean, that's 3 wide racing. You just don't see that often here, and I think McCann just got too tight. But yeah, I mean, you expect to see a little bit, maybe a little a single car spin. You know, kind of like what we saw with Chris Stevens at the beginning. You don't expect a big wreck, but I think these drivers are being aggressive, Sam. They're trying to get through the field with how big the field is, and just being a little bit over aggressive early on.
You're going to see here a much clearer side. Watch out for the 8 machine on the inside. 3 wide off the exit. And McCann just slightly drifts up a little bit more than I think he was expecting to see the 15 there. Gives the tap to the rear quarter panel, and away they go. Bring out our 3rd caution of the day. And with this caution flag coming out, more drivers decided to come into pit road to get repairs done. This is, if anything, this is going to help those drivers caught up in the 2nd caution. That was the big one. Caught up around 15 plus drivers in that 2nd caution of the day. And then with more and more cautions just coming out, gives you more time to get those repairs done and keep a lot of drivers still in the fight for this race.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing for a lot of those guys like Christopher Norton, Alexander, Ryan Lynch, Siegel, Becker, all those guys that had heavy damage. Allows them to come down and get some more repairs done. And thankfully here at the short track, aerodynamics not as important as it was last week at Michigan, so you can get away with a little bit more damage. So who knows? Maybe we'll see one of those cars without a front end up there at the front. We saw it at Dover. Might see it again here tonight at Iowa.
I mean, it hasn't even been just at Dover. We also saw a slide of it at Michigan. We saw a couple of drivers with no front bumper running well, even at Daytona to start the season off. So you never know what you could be seeing at the end of these races. If your engine is still at full song, you still got a chance to fight this one out. As a lot of movement of our front two. Hasn't been a lot, but more of the movement's been going on from third on back. There's been a couple of drivers moving up 2 to 3 spots, but back in 16th position, William Duff, Tony Brent, as well as Will Steven Bustler and Tyler Thomas, all up either 12 positions or more from where they qualified. Gotta say, just staying out of trouble seems to be the big thing that's been helping out these drivers. And once again, looking to be a solid run for drivers that just need to stay out of trouble, and you can find yourself with a top 20, maybe even a top 15 finish.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be the key for especially for those guys. Just stay out of trouble, see what you can get. Don't be overly aggressive. And right now, doing exactly that. They're gonna have some guys behind them on fresh tires that they're gonna have to watch out for. But right now, looking good for them, and they just if they can keep out of trouble, who knows where they'll end up.
Also saw moving up, Chris Stevens given an EOL penalty. The 14 will be sent to the end of the line again. A little bit of aggressive driving hits the 14, and he'll now try to get back into the fight, but he's got a long way to go. Well, that is his second EOL penalty. He had the initial one that started the race off, and now, after our third caution, but up front they're stacking up. Pace car lights are off. I mean, Trevor, we now have coming to 25 laps to go. Going to be less than 25 when we go back to green flag racing before the stage is done. Only those top 10 drivers get bonus points. What do you think the mentality is like, knowing that we've already had 3 very quick back-to-back cautions?
I want to say that they're going to calm down a little bit, but I mean, we just saw 3 wide racing, for that fifth place. So I'm not sure what to really expect or what the mindset's going to be for these guys. Hopefully it's hey, let's just kind of ride in line for 10 or so laps and then race it out for the stage. But we're gonna have to wait and see as they're getting ready to go back racing.
Stacked up, ready to go. Entering turn number 3. It's gonna be Travis Dart, Ross Tatum. They've been the front row for every start and the initial launch. Dart got the pole and open to lead the most laps, get a win, and be only the second driver. And 3 times they've ran here to be in a victory lane. And Dart, great launch, a little bit of a wiggle move, but the inside did not get going. And it's Brandon Colley in the 99 now has a great shot to try to make this pass on Ross Tatum. But Tatum aggressively enters, finds the extra grip, gets pinched by the 99, and Colley into the fight as he's trying to give the bump to our leader.
Yeah, into the fight, but I think the 26 of Travis Dart might be struggling just a little bit as he kind of held up Brandon Colley there through out of 1 and 2, but a good run off the top out of 3 and 4 for Travis. Clears the 21 of Ross Tatum, but it's going to be down here into 1 and 2. Can he get a good launch out of 2? Can Colley pinch the 21 and clear him? Is that battle for second still going to heat up? But Colley with a little bit of a slip up, but he's going to have the better momentum here down the back straightaway.
And looming in 4th place, 32 of Zach Hall. He's already shown that third lane's got some great momentum and speed, and looks like Zach thinking about making the move. Colley's going to cover off that run. Instead, they'll stay in line in that top lane, and it's the 21 of Ross Tatum. No draft help, but luckily the straightaway's not long enough to worry about the draft, and they'll stay side by side for the lead. Travis Dart still having the nose ahead as they're drag racing down into turn number 3.
Still has the nose ahead, but you can definitely tell that 26 is struggling for a little bit of grip here. Goes all the way up to that third groove, though. Gets a really good run. And here goes Brandon Colley with a crossover move. Almost 3 wide down the front straightaway, but he's going to dive into the inside of the 21 of Ross Tatum going into turn number 1.
Tired of settling behind the 26. Instead, the 26 might be helping the 99. Ross Tatum not able to get the run that he wants, and they'll stay side by side again. But at that outside lane, yes, Dart is not getting the run through the entry or center of the corner, but the exit has been so dominant that it's keeping the 26 in the fight. But the 99, first time we've seen really a bumper close to leading that lap. And here we go, Colley. This could be the lap that it can find that extra speed.
Yeah, if you can get a good exit here out of 2, might set him up for a potential pass here. Not quite, but this is the furthest we've seen somebody alongside the 26 on that bottom groove. Could really use a good run here through 3 and 4, but Travis Dart just has so much momentum on that top groove. Colley doing everything he can, but Travis Dart's going to hold on to lead this lap.
Once again, it's the 26 leading that lap, showing that the outside lane is able to defend, working those tires, and you might have to go to that third lane and watch out. There's the 21 of Ross Tatum, hoping to get a good enough run that he can utilize that momentum on the entry of turn 3. And the 26 runs slightly higher, defending Ross as well as keeping the speed. What a run by Travis Dart there.
What a defense by Travis Dart. Now it's going to be the battle for second. Collie, Tatum, they're going to go at it, going through 1 and 2. Zach Hall just waiting to see where he can go, and not too far behind him, Sam, the man on the move right now, the 24, Cameron Sarton. He's cleared everybody up to 5th place. He's starting to track down on top 4.
We got a couple of people that are really moving their way forward. Up 7 spots, Cameron Sarton in 5th, and he is wanting a win badly. The 24 has not won since season 3, and he's hoping to finally get back into victory lane. Going winless for one season is maddening for the 2-time champ, but he does not want to go another season going winless, as he'll be settling in 5th, slowly chipping away and having Brian McCann behind him, but also other drivers on the move. Robert Sherwood, the 22, we haven't talked about him most of the season. It's been a lot of, well, he's in the back, maybe he'll find some extra speed. He's now battling side by side for 7th place with Trey Jackson, and this grouping of drivers have been very close to making contact and almost bringing out a yellow. If we're going to see one, it might come from these drivers fighting to get inside the top 10.
Yeah, they've been beating and banging with one another. You got Sherwood, Jackson, Stitz, Will Bustler, Andrew Medlin's there, Joshua Altus is coming through there right now, Jacob Grant in the 19. I mean, they've been trading positions, trading paint all the way the last couple of laps. It looks like Sherwood's finally going to clear the 88 of Jackson. Stitz is going to take it to the inside, almost a little bit of contact between Altus and Bustler. They're going to be 3 wide with Medlin to the top out of turn number 2.
Andrew Medlin might have had a little bit of a destination in the grass after the contact between himself and the 8, but still showing strength. Also, driver, watch out for that 94 on the inside. Joshua Altus, freshest tires out of anyone out on track. He pitted 13 laps ago. Rest of the field up front, still on the set they started off. The 94 showing some great grip on the inside lane.
Yeah, one of the few drivers with that grip, able to get the runs off the corner that he needs to get these passes done. Now, side by side going to work with the 88 of Trey Jackson. Here comes the 1 of Will Bustler. Jackson looking like he's struggling. Medlin again going to go to that outside line. Again going to be 3 wide out of 4. This time they make it work. Enough room given. Jackson squeezing the 1 of Will Bustler. Here comes the 19 of Jacob Grant to the bottom as Jackson continues to free fall his way through the field.
Grant wasn't able to follow his teammate, but instead wanted to follow the 1 and where he's at. And Andrew Medlin loved that Trey Jackson was holding off the 1 machine because it gave the 12 the space to move in to that 10th place position. As right on board the 1 of Will Bustler, you can just see how chaotic one bad mistake can get you in some massive trouble. And drivers are trying to keep themselves out of as much trouble as possible. Another driver with fresh rubber in the mix, 42 of Cole Sacchetti. He's that 3rd car on the outside, but you can see visibly that front nose damage the 42 is dealing with, even with fresh rubber, not really able to move his way clearly through this group as quickly and efficiently as he was hoping.
Yeah, you just got to be careful, be patient. I think you get that little bit of damage from that big wreck that we had down in 1 and 2, but Sacchetti definitely working his way up to the field, trying to get this track position for himself as he's doing battle with the 5 there of John Dart. As John gets a little bit tight, almost gets up into the side of the 42 of Cole, but Cole just continues to slowly pick away. He's got Alex Jones in the 45 in front of him, Trey Jackson out of the bottom after getting passed by Will Bustler and Jacob Grant, so this might hold up the 42 just a little bit as Alex Jones is going to go by on the outside.
Well, we got to see there the 2 of Jonathan Woods falling back to 19th position. Everyone that's trying to get inside the top 10, practically you put a blanket over this group. But the cutoff drivers, Andrew Medlin in the 12, everyone's trying to run him down if they can to get that bonus point that can be so crucial for these drivers. And right on board with the 2, seeing the 77 of William Duff. Duff having a solid night so far, even with all the other struggles from other drivers running in that on the throttle prop podcast, 77 machine, and a great podcast would go listen to, and a great sponsor to the Full Send Racing Series. As Duff sees the 2 clear moving forward, to pick and choose. Driver going backwards, Trey Jackson really struggling in the 88 with the grip.
Yeah, I think Trey just used up his tires a little bit too early on there at the beginning of the race, and you can just tell he's still continuing to struggle now as he gives up the position to the 2 of Jonathan Woods. And here comes William Duff to the inside as he gets by, and right behind him, Ken Campbell in the 15 working his way up through these guys after his spin through the grass on the front straightaway.
Trying their best, making their way through. Ken Campbell taking just fuel, didn't take tires under his pit stops. So 15, just showing raw speed and trying to keep as much of an advantage if possible, as this group's got coming up to 6 laps to go when Travis Dart crosses the line. The 26 looking strong here this evening, and what a complete change up from last season to this season. Travis Dart, usually we would say, hey, he might get the pole, but he might only hold that lead position for maybe the first 10 to 15 laps at most. This season, though, complete change for the 26 with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, it's been a complete 180, and we talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned that he's tired of hearing us say, hey, he's going to be quick for a couple laps and fade through the field. So looks like Travis definitely put in the work over the offseason to get better on those long runs, and maybe just be much more comfortable with the Xfinity car as he continues to hold off Ross Tatum and Zach Hall and those guys.
I mean, holding off Ross Tatum, especially with the early aggression that 21 was showing, that is a feat all on its own. But to be able to hold off the likes of also Zach Hall, Cameron Sarr, and Brandon Colley, this is a fabulous run by that 26 machine. 5, make it now 4 laps to go in our stage. Top 10 drivers going to be finding themselves getting bonus points. Win the stage, get 10 bonus points. Second gets 9. It continues to dwindle down a point each position until you get to 10th place, where they only get 1 bonus point. But that could be the make or break if you're going to be making the playoffs later on in the season. We've seen in other championship runs where it's come down to a tie, and these are the bonus points that can find you into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, every point's going to be crucial, especially kind of with the ups and downs we've seen some guys have through the last couple of weeks with these big incidents. You never know when those points could come into play for these guys, so every position does count here as they come to the end of the stage.
End of the stage for these drivers, coming to 2 laps to go for the 26 of Travis Dart. Done a great job holding off and even expanding on the lead position as race controls have announced pit road is closed. You cannot come into pit road, and if you do, you're going to find yourself with a black flag as the Dart continues to lead the way. The battling for 10th place is underway as well. Andrew Medlin, Cole Sketty are bouncing back and forth. Cole Sketty, fresher tires on the inside. The outside lane has been defending well for the 12, but looks to be exit turn 4. Fighting right on back once again is Andrew Medlin.
Yeah, Medlin just has to stay side by side with Cole Sketty, get that run to get to the line, but the problem is they got Rob Sherwood in the 22 right there that could kind of check everybody up. Sherwood, Sketty, they're going to be door to door. A little bit of contact made out of turn number 2 as the battling for that 8th, 9th, and 10th position here in the stage heats up. Sherwood again going to pinch the 42. Here comes Medlin on the outside. Bustler taking a look. But Sketty's going to clear the 22 out of 4.
And they're waiting to see the 10th place cross the line, and there it is. Yellow flag is out, and Cole Sketty able to actually move up to 9th when the yellow flag came out, and Rob Sherwood will fall to 10th. Andrew Medlin just missing out on those stage bonus points, but it's the 26, Travis Dart, winner of the stage. Congratulations to Travis Dart, as that in and out machine is been looking flawless here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's just up front in that clean air, and like we touched on at the start of the broadcast, we thought clean air would be king, able to hold off the charges from Ross Tatum, Brandon Colley, Zach Hall, and those guys, and now we're going to come down and get 4 fresh tires and see if he can do it all over again.
And for some of the drivers that already came into pit road, Joshua Altus, Cole Sketty moving up to 8th and 9th position. For Altus, moving up 13 spots. For Cole Sketty, remember, he didn't qualify because he had an EOL that he had to take on the beginning of this race. Up 27 spots for that of the 42. Even with dealing with the damage, Cole Sketty, that track position was massive for taking those tires as everyone enters pit road.
Yeah, it's a great strategy call there from Cole. Going to leave one less set of tires, though, for the rest of the race. That could come back to hurt him, but right now, really use that to his advantage. He gets to flip the track position for himself.
As the field enters pit road, Travis Dart going to be leading the way. Ross Tatum behind, Zach Hall in 3rd, Brandon Colley in 4th, Cameron Sarn in 5th. We'll talk to Travis Dart once they're done with their pit stops and get his thoughts for being the stage winner, but he overshoots his pit stall, and he might not be the leader after they exit pit road.
That just hurts to see right there. Did everything right in the stage. Get to your box. Now we're going to slide through, going to lose at least a couple of positions. Thankfully for Travis, though, has that first pit box, so it looks like he's only going to lose the 1 to Ross Tatum. But, I mean, Sam, had he had a pit stall further back, he could have lost 2, maybe 3 or 4 positions.
Could have been losing a lot more, but like you said, able to at least salvage for himself, and it looks like 2 positions. Travis Dart will fall to 3rd place, so at least he knows inside lanes where the 26 is going to be looming for himself. But great run, able to stay up front, and Let's see if we queue up the 26 machine of Travis Dart. Travis, in the 26 machine, it's Sam and Trevor up the booth. You got us?
Yep, I do.
Well, you are the official stage winner here at Iowa. Man, how are you feeling? Because you looked super strong out there up front.
I feel really good. Messed up on pit road, overdrove my pit box, so gonna be starting third here for the second stage. But overall, pretty good. I thought Ross had really good speed, and then all of a sudden he kind of dropped off a little bit. So I think at some point we kind of just evened out, and I was able to pull away from him a little bit. But I feel really good. Did a lot of B Open races here when they were here at for officials, so have a lot of practice on this track.
I mean, Travis, was the clean air, do you feel like the clean air was that important, or just kind of running your own line and saving a little bit of tire was that what helped hold off Ross Tatum and those guys?
Clean air for sure. I think Ross had a little bit more speed at times, which I think I messed with, of course, with the dirty air and just kind of being in front of him, taking away his exactly preferred line. But I kind of mimicked what he was doing, and then Diamond did a little bit more out of 4. I feel like we were probably pretty similar in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 is the big difference maker here so far tonight, I think.
Oh, Travis, we're going to have another pace lap before we get the 1 to go marker. But for yourself, how are you feeling about the track and the different lanes that we're seeing? I know you talked about diamonding your way through the corners. Are you kind of surprised on the amount of different lane choices there are going through the corners?
No. Like I said, I did a lot of official rate. 3 and 4 is so much fun because you can run anywhere in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, you have to stay in the bottom 2 lanes. But 3 and 4, you can run anywhere. And I was really excited for this race this season just because of that, because it should bring a lot of good racing.
Well, you've been making it exciting up front, and we hope that you can get back to that lead position. Congratulations as well on getting your second pole of the season, and we hope to be talking to you later on here, Travis, and we'll send you back to your team.
Awesome. Appreciate it, you guys.
Well, that is going to be the Ricky Bobby Motorsports driver of Travis Dart. Going to be starting in 3rd place. Again, mistake on pit road, forcing the 26 to be back here. But Trevor, I mean, hearing his excitement and the preparation, this 26 might be the biggest threat to watch out for.
Yeah, I mean, he very well might be. Like you said, put in a lot of time, knows what lines to expect, and who knows? I think right here on this restart, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. We've seen the top be the preferred line, but with Ross Tatum taking that inside line as the leader, that might help out the 26 on this restart.
Well, there's your wall of the 3 driver cams that we have. Got Travis Dart on the bottom right. Center is going to be Andrew Medlin, and it's Brian McCann going to be on the top. All throughout the field, set up and ready to go. All 3 drivers going to be on the inside lane. Let's see how they can handle this restart. Stage racing is done. It's all about who can get the win. Pace car is off into the restart zone, and Ross Tatum and Brandon Colley going to be your front 2 as we head down into turn number 1.
Yeah, and Colley, or I'm sorry, that of Travis Dart didn't get the greatest of timing on that restart. That's going to allow Colley to clear it. Zach Hall in the 20 or the 32 is going to try to get clear, but Travis with a great run off the bottom, going to keep it side by side with Zach Hall and see if he can get clear of this 32 machine. The problem is, Sam, he's got nowhere to go. Now he's side by side with the 99 of Brandon Colley.
Not enough space to just fit in between the 2 drivers. Finally, we'll find it as he slots in. Brian McCann in 6th position, trying to watch Chris Stitz, the 17 now showing face for himself, up 8 spots from where he qualified. As we right on board with the 8, get a sense of what it's like inside the cockpit of these drivers through Iowa as the sun is starting to set. In those different lanes, Travis talked about it, you've got so many different opportunities to do 3 and 4.
You saw it right there out the windshield of Brian McCann's car. 3 cars in 3 different lines going through 3 and 4. McCann going to use the top here to get around the 17 of Chris Stitz and run that kind of middle groove through 1 and 2, see if he can get a good launch shoot. Looking back out of the view, you got that of Alta side by side with Stitz. Bolsichetti's there, Will Bustler there, and you see him fan out here through 3 and 4. Everybody taking a different approach.
Trying to move forward the best that they can currently, and they've been doing a great job in the middle of the pack. Looking like you're going to see a wreck, but ultimately staying together for the majority of the field. But you're seeing the 8 trying to settle in. How do you get past Zach Hall? Those could be the 2 main drivers to watch out when we look at future in the season in the playoffs. Andrew Medlin trying to make it into the playoffs this season, the 12. Had so many opportunities of great runs if you look back to season 4, but kind of caught up in self-sabotage at times, other drivers' mistakes. he's hoping tonight to continue with the top 10 finish. And you look at the Hornets' nest, a few names that we've seen up front mixtured in here. Alex Jones on the outside, the 5 of John Dart, the 2 of Jonathan Woods, and Ken Campbell, all battling for that 14th, 13th position.
And just everybody's on top of one another. Jones is going to go for a crossover move here on the 5 of John Dart. He's going to look to the inside. Up in front of them, Sherwood to the inside of Cole Sacchetti. That of Ken Campbell side by side with Jonathan Woods in the 2. I mean, it's just side by side battling all over for these for this gaggle of cars. Everybody tries to find out. Here, Jacob Grant going to go to the inside of Cole Sacchetti, who looks like he might be struggling a little bit on that outside line. Gave up 2 positions for that 42 machine, so we'll have to see if he can fight back to the outside of that 19 machine going into turn number 1.
I was highly concerned for Cole Sacchetti. We talked about the front nose damage. When he had the fresher tires, the 42 was really ripping his way forward, but that's because he had over a 30 lap advantage on tires, allowing him to be able to attack it and be faster than other drivers just because of that extra grip. Now that he's on an equal footing with the tires, that damage looks to be hurting Cole, and he's now just trying to salvage at least a decent finish here tonight.
Yeah, just doing everything he can. I'm not sure how much that's hurting him. Maybe saving a little bit of tire here, Sam, for this in case it goes a long green flag run, but definitely giving up a couple of spots. That damage, like you said, might be hurting him enough here as the 45 Alex Jones gets by and now settles in front of the 5 of John Dart, who's doing battle with the 2 of Jonathan Woods.
Side by side, John Dart has been very aggressive on this restart, sometimes a little bit too aggressive. Trey Jackson has just been falling backwards quickly. The tires have been difficult for the 88, and as well other drivers deeper in the field getting extended time to get damage repair. Cameron Sarton didn't feel confident with his damage that he had. 24 having to get damage repaired.
Yeah, I saw him get into the wall at some point right there before the stage coming out of 2, and didn't realize it was that bad. And I was wondering why he got back there, but definitely got some damage repaired. And it's going to be a long recovery road for that 24 machine, Sam. And again, just another self-inflicted wound for Cameron Sarton when he has the speed to compete up front.
It's just been a frustrating thing, but some drivers, they get into these motions of a slump where you kind of feel like you have to outdrive who you're around and outdrive yourself and get into those self-sabotaging moments. And 24 has certainly had those times. Seen Christopher Melton just trying to hold steady where he's at, driving with some fast drivers with damage at this current moment. And other drivers are getting frisky with one another up front. 14th, 15th position, side by side is Cole Sacchetti once again dealing with the damage, but still holding off drivers and enforcing the issue. Ken Campbell's been trying to go 3 wide on the outside, but just hasn't had the momentum off the corner to make the pass work yet over the 42. But now going to be side by side with John Dart. Ken Campbell up to 14.
Yeah, just moving his way forward, and they got stacked up on top of one another a couple laps ago when Alex Jones got into the outside wall coming down the front straightaway and stacked everybody up. I thought they were going to wreck for a moment as everybody scattered around, but Campbell continues that recovery run after the contact with Brian McCann, him spinning through the infield. Campbell trying to slowly work his way back up there into the top 10.
And up front, inside our top 5, there's also been some movement. Third place runner Joshua Altus has been able to get by Zach Hall. Brandon Colley in the 94 made the pass, but how long can he hold off the speedy driver is Zach Hall, who's having one of his better runs of the season? And talked to Zach again. I was talking about how he wasn't sure about how this race was going to go, but also unsure about the Xfinity car. He felt a lot more comfortable in the trucks last season. Coming into this season, 32's confidence level has not been as skyrocketed as the 7-win season that he had last go around when he won the championship.
Which is kind of odd to think, because you think about when he joined Full Send as a part-time driver when they were still in the Xfinity car. I mean, he jumped right in, Sam, and won a couple races in this car, and to see him kind of have a slow start out the gate is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, and also we think back to the trends. I mean, you brought up a trend last season that was kind of bizarre. There was he would win, or after he would stop winning a race, it would take him 8 races to finally get back to victory lane. And we were trying to count what race that would be based off of last season's last win going into this season. And he still has a couple of more races to wait before he can technically get into victory lane based off those trends.
Yeah, I think based off those trends, I was looking at it, and it's post New Hampshire is when we expect to see Zach Hall back in victory lane based on the trends. So we'll see if that holds true. I know he likes to say it's motivation for himself, but right now back and forth position. So if it's motivated, he's going to have to find some extra gear in that 32 machine here tonight.
If that's post New Hampshire, that is going to be into the next month of September at Spa. It's the next time we're expecting Zach to win. Tonight at Iowa. Next week, the drivers will be at Homestead, and the week after that is when they'll be at New Hampshire, and then Spa, in a very interesting road course you don't get to see very often in the Xfinity car or in any of the NASCAR vehicles. It's going to be a fun one, September 5th. Don't want to miss it. We'll be here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we look at the group from a wider point of view. This group up front, top 10 drivers, a lot of them have been moving forward through the field. And the 12, Andrew Medlin, up 4 spots, qualified in 10, moving forward. But some of the bigger surprises got to be Robert Sherwood. This 22, a completely different swing from previous races that he's had this season. Qualified inside of our top 15, and now inside of our top 10. This is great to see for a driver who's been qualifying most of the time outside of our top 20 and spends most of the race in 20th to 25th position.
Yeah, it's great to see. It kind of a back to form from what we saw in season 3 when we were in the Xfinity car with him running up there with what was then at the time his teammate Joshua Altus. So, I mean, those two were week in, week out, usually pretty quick up near the front. So nice to see Sherwood having essentially a recovery run for himself here tonight at Iowa.
Finding the confidence is always great to see, but he's got a very hungry Ryan McCann on his back bumper trying to move forward. The 8's been looking quick. Jacob Grant, another driver that's been trying to just stay out of trouble, is the 19 machine. And the 17 of Chris. This just tonight looks like a great recovery run for drivers that were struggling in these first 4 races of the season, who we know can be top contenders. We look at the strength of this field. There are about 15 drivers that you have a feeling have a chance for a good top 5 run at moments, but it needs that little bit of luck some of these drivers have been missing out on.
Yeah, just need to find a little bit of luck. And with you know, a lot of these guys surviving the big wreck in 1 and 2, that luck could start here tonight with some good results. As Jacob Grant again trying to hold off the 17 of Chris Stitz, maybe get a little run here on Rob Sherwood. Grant can run just outside or just inside the top 10 to the top 15 all night long, trying to defend this 10th position right now from the 17 of Chris Stitz.
Chris Stitz fighting on back, and as well with the tires starting to fall off. Everyone's starting to plateau. Even we're seeing the likes of the 42 Cole Siketti getting back into the mix for himself. You know, even with the damage on the front nose, when you're running slower, a little bit on those long runs. We got the similar pace as everyone else in those longer runs. 17 bounces to the outside, trying to get the better run. Gets to the quarter panel, and Chris Stitz, what a move on the outside. And Jake Grant just has to watch as that pass is made.
Yeah, he just has to watch it. Here's a little bit of lap traffic in the way. Jay Becker in the 10 missing that front end. He's going to get up into the outside wall as he tries to get out of the way of our leaders, but it looks like everybody's going to skate by. And Stitz now, after passing that of Jacob Grant, going to try to go up there and run down the 22 of Sherwood up in front of them. Altus still doing battle with the 99 of Brandon Colley, but Altus, Sam, looks like he's starting to fall back a little bit through this field. That high pace that he had at the start of this run, looking like it might hurt that 94 machine.
Yeah, and that aggressiveness, you knew at some point it was going to make a swing. These drivers have been one of the longer green flag runs of this race so far. It's been a pleasure to watch these drivers ebbing and flowing, and in that transitional phase, if you were not protecting your tires, and maybe we're expecting more cautions to balloon out, that early aggression is now starting to backfire, and that's what the 94 is feeling at this time. Zach Hall's been able to move up to 3rd, 4th goes to Brandon Colley. And the 94 about to be under fire from Andrew Medlin, Will Bustler, Brian McCann. And talking about those 3 drivers of Medlin, Bustler, McCann. McCann's the one I think can be very strong in the long run to watch out for. Medlin's been very aggressive on the outside. Will Bustler's been showing weakness at moments. The 8 has looked stable. He's letting everyone else just drive around, keeping a very calm pace. So watch out for the 8 if we stay green for another 20 or so laps.
Yeah, just, you know, lost a couple spots there on the start. That inside line on that restart got really checked up, and McCann just kind of let everybody go and run at his own pace. So I'm going to be interested to see this run progresses. If he can make that ground back up, maybe save it a little bit of tire, but right now, just in line behind Bustler, Medlin, Altus, but Altus definitely falling back through the field as he's in danger of giving up a spot here to Medlin, Will Bustler, and the 8 of Brian McCann.
I think if Medlin and Bustler can in line, they're going to be able to get by Joshua Altus. Will Bustler seeing an opportunity and not wanting to give up on it, as every every time Altus moves up, he is holding off the 12, which gives the 1 an opportunity on the entry of these corners, but once again, not able to make the pass just yet. But movement up front, no pass for the bleed. Our top 2 have completely gapped out from the rest of the field. Ross Tatum, Travis Dart, over 2.5 seconds ahead of our lead of the rest of the pack, but they have just caught up to the grouping of drivers that were caught up in that initial big one. And here we go, lap traffic movement for our leaders. They got to slice and dice and make their way through as our front 2 caught up in a very precarious spot. And Travis Dart, that's not a situation you want to find yourself with lap traffic on the exit of a corner.
No, not necessarily where he wanted to be, but gets through there as we got a caution.
And it's Christopher Melton going to be spun around for the 93 as he's going to get into a very aggressive push on the entry, gets into the 10, and then ran over by the 7 of Cedric Hunter that spins the 93 around. Seems like drivers might have forgotten where the grip level was at. With the timing of this yellow, which is kind of perfect for us because it's close to the halfway marker. But here's where we're watching out. 93 of Melton throws it down, loses the grip, gets to the 10. Cedric Hunter not expecting the extra slowness, gets to the 93, and away they go. And that brings out our caution here tonight. And this field, gotta say, Trevor, certainly going to be excited on what the rest of this race is going to bring. As everyone hits pit road, we're inching the halfway marker of this race, so we'll take our first commercial break here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining with us on your Tuesday night. You're watching the Full Send Racing Series and the Xfinity car at Iowa for the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs. Thanks for being with us. We will step away, but when we come back, more green flag action at Iowa.
They're 5 wide behind her pit. Oh my, the 5 wide here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here. Coming off a 4. That's it.
It's
Bottom line, here it comes.
Oh, no, Carter gets wrecked. It's going to be that Nick Crumford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trinity diving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes. Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck
Oh,
him.
they wrecked! They wrecked each other! The top 2 bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they gotta be careful. Oh no! The 4 demolishes in the 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Full Send Racing Series. In the Xfinity car, drivers have been just notified it's the halfway of tonight's race at the Iowa Corn 190, presented by Impact Sim Designs. Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If it's your first time here, welcome to the show. We cover 4 different leagues throughout the week, and if you'd like to subscribe to make sure you're notified, remember when you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you're notified when we go live. The drivers getting the 1-to-go marker as we're entering 3 and 4. Ross Tatum, Travis Dart, they've been the front 2. They got the first and second for qualifying, and they've been the front 2 all night long. Can they continue on as we're past halfway? Let's find out. Into the restart zone, we're back to green flag action as it's side by side for second now because Ross Tatum is gone.
Yeah, we'll see here if the 26 Travis Dart can clear the 99 of Brandon Colley. We saw how aggressive he was on the last restart. This time by, not going to be able to get clear of that 99 machine. Going to have to fall in line, and I think he'll get by that of Brandon Colley at some point. I mean, he and Ross Tatum have been the class of the field all night long. As Zach Hall gets a little loose on the bottom line, trying to fend off his teammate at 12 of Andrew Medlin, who goes up to 4th position.
Andrew Medlin has been just chipping away ever so slightly, and it helps when one of your teammates knows how to get in the victory lane. Ken Campbell, a part of that Freaky Fast Racing team, knows how to be up front, but caution flag's gonna wave. Sam Siegel, Jay Beckard involved with this one off the exit at turn 2.
Beckard already in the damaged race car. Siegel, I think, received a little bit of damage from that big wreck, but caught up in this one. Is to wait and see what if we can get a replay pulled up. But I gotta say, Sam, Brandon Colley looked pretty aggressive there on that restart. Thought about having a little bit of move to the inside of 3 and 4 on our leader Ross Tatum, but pretty good restart there for the 99 machines. We take a look back and see what happened.
Poor Jake Beckard. I don't know if this curse is just going to be on him all night long, but once again, tapped on the entry of turn 1, but comes down, collects into Sam Siegel. Cole Seghetti also gets a little bit of piece of it, and around goes the 10 and the 55. As you're going to see here, entry the corner, going to be seeing that of Dylan, 27, a little bit too quick on the entry. I think for Beckard, thought he was going to have more space to turn down, didn't, and drifting is the 10, but then comes sliding down into the 55 of Sam Siegel, but also gained some slight help on the finish. Cole Seghetti was not expecting to have to slow down in time, and you see the 3 drivers collision, and away the 55 and the 10 go, spinning around and bringing out the most recent yellow.
And you want to talk about bad luck, not only Jay Becker, but how about the 42 of Cole Seghetti, Sam? I mean, going all the way back to Dover, it's just been kind of a free fall for Cole, just caught up in incidents really not of his making.
No, I mean, Cole, looking at the stats, it is the most bizarre thing to see because Cole Seghetti has been a driver that's been on note. He's a championship contender every season. Coming into this season, we thought he was going to be one of the top 5, top 6 drivers at the points already. Instead, coming into tonight, he's mired all the way down in the 30s of points. He's still searching for some type of just advancement in any way to get himself into a fight. Currently 33rd in points, and with a run like this, he could potentially fall even deeper down into the points.
Yeah, I mean, just more damage that he's got to deal with. We already saw kind of the struggle that he was having with the nose damage, and now we're going to have a little bit more. So just a tough night that he was trying to salvage, going to get a little bit tougher for him.
And going to have to find his way, working forward. As if you're just joining us, we have the big one, our second caution of the day. It took out over 15 drivers that had to get damage repaired. We've already lost 2 of those 15, being Christopher Wade and Brian L. Wilson. Somehow, Jonathan Burt, who was slingshotted across the track, got all of his engine damage repairs and is back out on track, 69 laps down. Not the nicest position to be, but at least he's out there on track and hoping more drivers will be calling it a night so he can gain more spots. Ross Tatum going to be up front in the 21. He has been one of the top drivers, and Travis Dart got the pole, been in the upside of our top 3 all night long. So we got ourselves going to be less than 90 laps to go when we get back to green flag action. You see that we've had plenty of cautions, but we also, with the cautions, gives us time to give shout outs to the amazing sponsors that help out here at the Full Send Racing Series. Starting things off with ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. would you like to be more enhanced in your viewing experience? Instead of just hearing sounds, why not feel the sounds with yourself getting a game or two from ButtKicker? Go on over to ButtKicker.com, get your purchase, and get more enhanced with your viewing experience. It's a plug and go with video games, movies, shows. ButtKicker has got you covered. And when you get your ButtKicker, you might be wondering, what do you attach it to? Well, that's when you go over to Next Level Racing. Next Level Racing, racing rigs have you covered. Easily can attach your ButtKicker to, so you can feel the enhancement to feeling more immersed to your racing experience. And also for Next Level Racing, they got budgets that can help you all around. They've got high-end that are built-in rigs that are stable, place, and go. And they've also got portable, cheaper-end racing rigs that you can get. Remember to go to nextlevelracing.com to check out their variety of racing rigs. And once you've got your ButtKicker, you've got Next Level Racing's racing rig, go get yourself a button box to be more efficient with your buttons. If you're trying to change setups, if you're trying to be an admin, you need a quick button to push, well, get yourself a button box from GurSim Studios today. Go check out on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you to the three main sponsors. And if you're just looking to day-to-day viewment of engagement, well, you might want your entertainment from a podcast. And that's where you head over to On the Throttle Podcast, the main podcast to help you get through your day. Go listen on Spotify and any other spots you can listen to podcasts. On the Throttle Podcast. Thank you so much to all the amazing sponsors that help out Full Center Racing series and allow us at Freaky Fast Broadcasting to be your broadcast for Tuesday nights. Pace car is off. Let's get back to green flag action. You got that, Brian McCann, Andrew Medlin, Travis Dart. Gonna be your three drivers on screen as we're back to green flag action up front.
Everybody getting up through the gears the best they can, and probably going to be able to hold off and get that second position. But I mean, Travis Dart going to be the big loser here on that bottom line. Going to lose a spot to Medlin, potentially a spot to the 32 of Zach Hall, as Colley had another little look at the back of Ross Tatum. Going to have to fall in line. Travis doing everything he can, though, on the inside. Has a great run. Going to be door-to-door for third place with the 12 of Andrew Medlin.
And you also can see all three different styles. As Brian McCann really muscling his way. He's going for a full-arm workout with the amount of force feedback the 8 machine has, but it's allowing him to stay inside the top 10. But a quick yellow comes out. Issue on the exit of turn 2. Philip Chavez as well is going to be finding other drivers spun around. And Cole Sacchetti, another victim to another wreck for the 42.
Just when it rains, it pours, Sam, and apparently for Cole Sacchetti, just not his night, not his last couple of weeks, and hopefully can right that ship when we get to next week's race.
I mean, next week, you're going to be hoping for it to be a different run, but here we go. Watch out. It's going to be the 101 of Philip Chavez and the 42 of Cole Sacchetti. Sacchetti already has a major front-end damage, gets into the rear bumper of the 101, and away they go. Just more taps, bang, bang, bang. Ryan Lynch comes in late, gives a slow down, almost gave contact. And the 42 down on the apron, that major change in surfaces gets the 42 out of shape. The balance goes away, and a little bit of slip around for the 42.
And just a little bit of little spin there. I mean, we saw him earlier at the front end damage, now has the side damage, now has no rear bumper cover, and hopefully, Sam, that's the last little bit of body work that we're going to see that 42 shed here tonight.
I mean, he's hoping for it. It's been the 10 and the 42 that have been the magnets of the incidences this evening. And they're hoping that that will be a changing factor moving forward as more drivers into pit road, going to get tires, fuel, damage repair, as a lot of the drivers up front have only used 2. Some have already used up 3 sets of tires this evening. You got 4 to work with in pit road. And in second place, it's the Barbie machine of Brandon Colley. Colley was gifted this scheme from his sim racing team and the endurance racing side. It was a fun little challenge that was going on between the teams when they were running at Spa almost I think it's a month ago at this point. Whereas the 24 hours of Spa, whatever driver a part of that sim racing team ran and had the most incident points on average per lap had to run the Barbie scheme, and it was Brandon Colley that sadly had the worst night of their endurance race. That team being Zach Hall, Christopher Norris, Brandon Colley, and Brian Johnson, as well as the 7 of Cedric Hunter is running out here tonight. And Trevor, I mean, it's always fun when you got sim racing teams and you throw out, as you see on the back, I lost the bet. and that's why he's running the Barbie scheme here tonight.
It's so much fun. Having taken part in a couple of those endurance races with the team, it's a lot of fun to take part and have that camaraderie and just and make goofy bets like that. And I got to give a huge shout out to Collie for sticking to it. It's not an easy scheme to stick on in race week in week out, but he's doing the Barbie fans proud here tonight, running up there in second place.
I mean, it's not the worst time to be running Barbie scheme, but he's hoping that maybe he can get it to victory lane. And sometimes you can turn what is supposed to be a joke of a scheme, kind of turn into your identity scheme for some people, and they're just known by it because it's so different from what other drivers run. But up front, Ross Tatum, known for being in the Sprite or Coca-Cola machine and being up front, the Season 3 champion, hoping that this is going to be another victory for himself. One back at Dover, trying to win another short track this season. And Trevor, I mean, this is looking great for that 21 machine.
Yeah, I mean, looking good for him. His biggest competitor that he had to worry about, Travis Dart's gonna be mired back there in fourth place. But thankfully for Travis, gonna have that outside line on this restart. So might contend here a little bit more on this restart. But I mean, for Ross, I think if he can just get clear, hold off the challenge of Brandon Colley, might have this, might be looking pretty good here for the win.
Ross Tatum trying to climb in the history books of most wins in the Full Send Racing Series. Currently ranked 4th with 7 career wins. If he wins here tonight, he'd be then tied for 3rd with the 12 of Andrew Medlin. And Medlin, if he finds himself going to victory lane, he would be tied with 2nd most wins ever in the series, being tied with Zach Hull, who's the 3rd car in line. So the history books are lining up. The one driver we're missing is Cameron Sartin, who has the most wins in the Full Send Racing Series history books. He's got 14 compared to the other drivers. The 424 is just trying to get back into victory lane after how dominant he was in the first 2 seasons. Kind of slipped off in Season 3. That's where we find Ross coming into the series, and we had Zach join late. We had plenty of other rookies. This has been a class that's been growing. It's been great to see the class of the field in strength-wise get better and better, and seeing different drivers be able to get into victory lane. And here tonight, if we see Brandon Colley get into victory lane, that would be another new winner in the Full Send Racing Series. That 99 hoping for a good restart here. Pace car's about to pull off as you're watching the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs into the restart zone, and we're back to green flag action. Ross Tatum, great launch. 99-12 side by side as they go down into turn number 1.
Yeah, not a great launch for Brandon Colley, the 26 and Travis Dart, but Travis going to be able to fight back. Here comes Brandon Colley, though, with a huge run. Sam out of 2. He's going to get to the outside of our leader.
Oh,
Ross
no!
Tatum made contact.
Into Ross! Into the outside, the 12, just trying to avoid, but Brandon Colley gets piled into the 21, out in the outside wall. It's another big one, as everyone tried to avoid, but wasn't able to. Carnage strikes again here in Iowa.
Just a heartbreak for both of those drivers. I mean, it was a huge run out of 2 for Brandon Colley, and I don't know if that car just snapped on him on corner exit that got him into Ross Tatum, but I mean, 2 heavy favorites out of this race, and more cars involved in the carnage in turn 3 and 4.
I mean, you had 2 separate ideas on how you were going to get around that wreck. It was either try to be special, and you see there, Colley grazes the wall, ripping it down, clips the 21. The 21 tries to do a J-turn, just lets the 21 drift back. Colley, though, locks down the brakes, and when he does that, he's got so much rear brake input that it just completely turns him sideways, gets contact in the 15, and as well others trying to slow down as the track narrows up. And oh, what a massive collision by hit that of the 14, and others just continue to pile in late.
Is that Sherwood's car that's airborne? I mean, that's 2 cars we've had airborne tonight. As I think the 22 was Colley's car goes airborne. I mean, the 3 cars airborne tonight, and just he's upside down.
It's barrel rolling down the field, and Sam Siegel has no idea what to do. How do you react? The car's just sliding down the hill.
I mean, he's trying to get out of the way. He gets around it, but I mean, there's just nothing you can do. I mean, you can see the parking lot at the bottom of.
Oh, and he sticks it on all 4.
On all 4s. Let's go. I mean, but you can see the parking lot. You had Valechka down there stopped. The 3 of Ryan Lynch is stopped. And for Ross, I mean, He did what I think he thought was a good idea. We saw Collie when he gets on the brakes, and you can see it right here, Sam. He's got so much momentum, just gets a little loose, gets the wall, clips the 21. But for Ross Tatum, it's I'm gonna go backward, try to.
He just. I mean, I get what he's trying to do, but you have to slow down so much more if you're planning on doing a J turn in front of the whole entire field. And it did not work out as he goes up in the outside wall, comes back, ricochets, and collecting more drivers. A bizarre wreck to have.
I mean, just yeah, bizarre. I don't really know what to say. We've got it's just unfortunate. I mean, everybody's trying to do everything they can. I think this is on board with Rob Sherwood. You can see everybody darting around in front of him. He gets into the back of John Dart, gets clipped, gets bounced up in the air, gets bounced off of somebody else. We're on all 4 tires. McCann's around the 13 into the outside wall. We're through the wreck. But heavy damage to the 22. You see the 14 going through there. Whew. Catch your breath, Sam.
Was nasty. Now the wreck, and Brandon Colley, the only driver with required damage with all of that carnage. A lot of drivers that did have to come to pit road to get damage repaired. But surprisingly, what could have been a lot worse, only one driver might be calling it a night after that incident.
I mean, it could have been worse. Hey, we've seen damaged cars have good performances, and you never know if we get another massive incident, it could really shake things up. I mean, I'm looking at the running order. Chris Stevens, even with the damage, I think he's still up there in 8th. Tyler Thomas, Tony Brent, Cedric Hunter. I mean, Cedric's been back in the back half of the 20s all night long after he was involved in the first big wreck. Now up there almost inside the top 10.
18th on back, all just came into pit road to get service done of some sort. A large amount just came into pit road to get some tires done, and the drivers are even over the radio saying, hey, I'm out on track. I haven't pitted yet, but I'm starting to feel the damage now, but it's a little bit too late to try to pull it into pit road because we're stacking up about to go green.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to just wait maybe for the next caution, come down under green. I mean, I just don't know what they're going to end up doing here, but I mean, it's really shaking up the front of the field. Took out 2 heavy favorites. Now that's going to leave Medlin as our race leader with Travis Dart to his inside. Then it's going to be Zach Hall, Will Bustler up there inside the top 5 for himself. Chris Stitz, Joshua Altis going to be our top 6. I mean, that really shook up the top running order.
I mean, Cameron Sarn out of nowhere, Texas Speed, 9th and 10th currently. Also, the 14 of Chris Stevens, who just piled into that wreck. He's got major front end damage, but is still going to fight. Christopher Norris, who's in 11th, he's got no front clip, and he's out there inside our top 15. We talked about, hey, you might not have the cleanest vehicle at the end of the night. With the way that this race is ballooned into so many wrecks, you might just have to salvage what you got, and you can come away with a top 10 finish. But up front, can Andrew Medlin get the launch that's needed? Pace car into pit road. And here we go, another driver getting a chance to lead the restart, and it's a good one for Andrew Medlin as Travis Dart did not get rolling for the 26.
Yeah, he didn't have the greatest of restarts. Going to be side by side with Will Bustler. Medlin just jumped right on out there. We'll see if Travis can get a good run here off the bottom. I mean, this has been a strong suit on that bottom line on these restarts. Been able to be aggressive, as you see a little bit of wiggle from Chris Sitz to the outside of Zach Hall. But Travis has been able to be aggressive and hold off these fights. But is he going to be able to clear the one of Bustler? Bustler is going to get that run off the top groove and hang on to that second position for now.
Will Bustler, we've been talking about the last couple of races. Qualifying has been the strength, but can he find the pure speed to get himself up front? Well, currently, the one is showing. Survival has gotten him into this position to be inside of our top 3 and trying to defend Travis Dart, who has been one of the most consistent drivers of the night, has stayed inside of our top 3 all night long and trying to do it again. And luckily was gifted there as the one gets squirrely out of 4.
Yeah, got that position. I think this might be bad news for the 12 of Andrew Medlin. I mean, Travis was able to keep up with Ross Tatum in that one green flag run. And we know how good Ross is at saving tires. And I mean, Travis was right there with him the entire time. So this might be bad news for the rest of the field if Travis can get around the 12 of Medlin and check out from this. But we'll have to wait and see if this 12 can hold off. We've seen how hard it is to make passes once somebody's in the lead. So maybe Medlin can hold on to it. As Altis has a huge dive past the 17 of Chris Stitz for that 5th position going into turn number 1.
Joshua Altis, we know, is quick on the short runs, trying to continue on with that quickness. Zach Hall, that last time through 3 and 4 was so bizarre to see. He was the only driver to stay low through 3 and 4, while everyone else ran a little bit high, and he'll try another chance to go in that outside lane. So we got 70 laps to go here tonight, and it's Andrew Medlin trying to get into victory lane for himself, as it's going to be our top 7 in line, all within about 2 seconds of one another.
Yeah, I mean, you can just tell with everybody, dealing with damage and issues is kind of starting to spread that field out. Our top 7, all within, that of about a second of one another, and then after that, it's another second back to Tyler Thomas. And I mean, a race of attrition, kind of what this is turning into, Sam. It looks like that of Sarton had a little bit of look to the inside of Chris Stitz, but nothing there. Our top 5 starting to pull away now from the 94 of Altus and the guys behind him.
Yeah, I mean, our top 7 are going to be just completely leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else. Really, the carnage I'm concerned about is from 15th on back, where we're seeing drivers that are not dealing with as much damage. More, it's tire strategy-wise, they're mixed in the back half of the field. So the 8 of Brian McCann trying to force it 3 wide. He's got Melton, who puts a real aggressive pinch through the center off of 2, forcing the 8 to hold up. Now losing speed. Duff's going to be in the mix. Chavez is really aggressive on entry. And these drivers, each time they enter the corner, so different on how they're entering that just one small mistake, you can be seeing someone getting spun around in an instant.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen it a couple times with drivers getting a little bit too deep into one, sliding up into the car on their outside. As Chavez has a really good aggressive move, he's going to do a slide job on the 93 and hold on to it, but that allows the 8 of McCann to come in, get that spot as well. But Chavez being really aggressive now as he's going to look to the outside and see if he can get a position here on the 3 of Ryan Lynch.
Trying their best. How do you get by the 3? They'll front clip. Well, you just get the better launch, throw it down low, and make a pass like that. The 101, great move for himself. You're seeing others that had to avoid some of the carnage and some little bit of scrapes here and there. Others dealing with some very limited machines. And these are drivers even outside of the top 20 that are just trying to putter along the best that they can. Jay Becker's still out on track, and he's doing his best to stay out there and just get the best run he can. The 45 of Alex Jones, he's been dealing with a lot of issues, but overall, it's just figure out a placement where you can stay alive and get up there. But taking the lead position, give it to the 26. Travis Dart fought and clearly and cleanly got the pass.
Yeah, got that pass down on Andrew Medlin. Now the question is, can Medlin keep touch with this 26 machine, or will he drive away in that clean air? And Medlin just trying to see what he can do, stay in touch. I mean, they've already pulled out about a second and a half gap back to the 1 of Will Butler, 32 of Zach Hall, as those two have pulled away. And looks like, Sam, looking at his lap times, that 26 might continue to just pull away.
It's Travis Dart trying to get himself in victory lane. It will be his 2nd career win in the Full Send Racing Series out of his town county tonight. 73 starts. His first ever win was back in season 1 at Las Vegas. Since then, it has been potential chances of wins, a lot of downsides, but he's been finding the consistency, and the 26 is in a spot. If this race stays green, who knows, victory lane could be calling the 26 machine.
I mean, it very well could be with the speed that he's had all night tonight. Started on pole, dominated the first stage. I mean, led the first opening 55 laps of this race. Had a really good battle there with Ross Tatum before that flurry of cautions that we had, and now back out in that clean air. I mean, I think barring a giant mistake, maybe a late race caution, this could be Travis Dart's night.
And do have a report for drivers back half of the field. The 2 of Jonathan Woods has had pulled into pit road, blown engine. His night is done for the 21 machine. Ross Tatum as well, major issues. The 21 has called it a night for himself, and just too much damage building up. And where it might be, that could be a trend that we could see as the night progresses of drivers that have had a lot of front end damage. That engine could expire at any moment, as you're seeing. Quick, it's 2-3 wide, now turned into 2 wide. William seeing that of Duff and Cole Siketti side by side with one another for 17.
I mean, Cole, even with all that damage, racing around cars that are equally as damaged as him, trying to move his way back up through the field, salvage something for himself for the night. Got around William Duff there in the 77, who's having a good run for himself, up 12 spots from where he started. I mean, even Chris Melton, surviving the carnage, up 21 spots for that 93 machine, making 20 spots as Cole Sketty's going to go around on the outside and continue his march forward here almost into the top 15.
Melton is what kind of concerns me. We saw this last week at Michigan. Melton was inside of the top 15, thought that he was going to have a great run, and then late in the race, he got caught up with drivers bouncing into one another and kind of threw away his night. And here's one of the Texas Speed drivers that's been fighting and clawing all night long. Dalton Alexander caught up in the big one, forced him all the way back in around 30th position. He's been hovering around 25th to 30th all night long. That most recent big one, the last couple of wrecks, he's kept his nose out of trouble, has gotten the repairs done. 37, Dalton Alexander looking for a solid night for the part-time driver this season.
Yeah, looking for a solid top 20 finish for himself, maybe a top 15 if there's a little bit more carnage in front of him later on in this race. Just going to let the 42 of Cole Sekedi by, and it looks like he might slide in pretty well behind this 42 machine, building a little bit of the gap to the 93 of Chris Melton, William Duff, and the wounded Ryan Lynch machine behind him. But, just a nice quiet run for Dalton Alexander in that 37 here tonight.
And in front of the going to be 37 again, Cole Sekedi, even at 14. Talk about some drivers, no front flip. Well, Christopher Norris was one of those, but battle between the 7 of Cedric Hunter, Jacob Brandt. Two drivers caught up in earlier messes. You can see the rear end for the 19 completely riddled with damage. Slight front end damage for the 7. Mainly it's in the rear end and in the side. Running well inside the top 10, minimizing those damages, able to spend time in pit road to get the repairs done. And now with a chance to get by Chris Stitz, who's looking to show a little bit of weakness here as these laps continue to tick away.
Yeah, Stitz just hasn't looked comfortable in this car on these last couple of restarts and runs, falling back through the field. And for that of Cedric Hunter, tried to look to the inside, going to lose a little bit of momentum, and the spot to Jacob Brandt, who I've got to say, been running inside the top 10 pretty much all night long. Had I think self-spun himself through that wreck, that giant wreck through 3 and 4. A little bit of rear end damage out of it, but pretty much kind of unscathed in that 19 machine as he continues his march forward after getting past the 7 there of Cedric Hunter.
Minimizing again on getting extra damage that is you don't want to have to deal with later on in these races. The 2, Jonathan Woods, whose engine expires, he is now officially called it a night. He's not going to get those repairs done, get back out on track. He's just going to settle back in 35th position. Cameron Sarton, 6th position for the 24. The way this night has been for Cameron Sarton, top 10, potentially a top 5, you'll take that if you're the 24 machine.
Yeah, I think you'll take that and be happy with it. Maybe a little bit disappointed in, again, another night where he looked like he had space and then just, had speed and then just a self-inflicted wound for himself as we move up. Zach Hall going to battle with Will Bustler, Andrew Medlin, who's fallen off about a second and a half from our race leader, Travis Dart. These three wide battle, second, third, and fourth with one another. Zach on the inside trying to get past this one of Will Bustler, but Bustler doing everything he can to hold on that outside line, but might get held up here by the 12 of Andrew Medlin.
Yeah, Medlin could be assisting or hindering as well as they're closing in on lap traffic. It's going to be the 14 of Chris Stevens. It's going to stay high, and it's going to be a quick squeeze off the exit of turn 4 is the one putting the pinch 3 wide. Here, the 1 a little bit not getting the exit that he wanted, but enough speed off the exit run to keep the 1 ahead. As they continue to keep it 3 wide for 3rd place, and as they continue to keep at this rate, Travis Dart built up the lead almost a second and a half, even with making passes over lap traffic. It's Andrew Medlin is looking pretty quick. I mean, this 3 drivers you see on screen, they are closing in on Dart as this run progresses forward. The last lap wasn't able to do so, but lap traffic is helping the group of 3 here.
Yeah, it's going to help them a little bit close in. I was looking at the lap times that time before that. It was Medlin with about a 2/10 advantage over that of Travis Dart this time by. It was about 2/10 the other way around as each one of them has to work through the respective lap traffic. Bustler finally able to get that move done on the 32 of Zach Hall as we're on board here with Travis. You can see the lap traffic in front of him. I believe the 44 of Valechka is up there. I'm not sure who the other 2 cars is, but you can just see the amount of traffic that the 26 has got to work his way through here, starting with the 39, actually, of Doug Pierce there.
It's going to be Doug Pierce as well as Valechka, the 44. Next driver in front is the 13 of Nick Holland. And then in front of them is the 13, so then the 88, of Trey Jackson. So a couple of lap cars. They're at least staying civil. I think that's the one thing you give to these lap cars. For some of them, it's another week of dealing with heavily damaged vehicles. We saw it last week at Michigan, some of the big hits that were made. But lap traffic can influence positioning, and Second, third, and fourth. This is a chance to gain positions or lose as the one stays low in Medlin. Trapped, pinched, 3 wide, but not for long as there's another wall as the 13 of Nick Holland will force to go 3 wide.
Yeah, and it was almost, in a big pinch there out of turn 2, and Medlin going to hold off the one of Will Bustler, and this all started with the 27 of Peter Dillon down the front straightaway. Medlin almost got into the back of him, having to try to figure out where he wanted to go, able to hang on and hold off the one of Bustler. Now Doug Pierce, the next one in line for these guys to work their way through, and that's actually allowed the 94 of Joshua Altus and the 24 of Cameron starting to close in on this battle with how much these guys have been battling and fighting through this lap traffic.
Closing in, battling, and drivers that are from 24th on back are running anywhere from a second to a second and a half slower than our leader currently at this time, just showing it's more of a nutrition of just staying alive, being out there, nutrition on the fact that you're trying to just make it through the race more than just trying to win or get the best position, because everyone hoping their engine can survive here in the back half of the field. Josh Altus, 5th place, another race where the 94 does an aggressive move, takes tires, gets himself up front, the track position works out, and now has a chance to fight up front as we're on board front bumper Zach Hall.
Yeah, I mean, just working that tire strategy to his advantage. We'll see if we can hang on. I think last week in Michigan kind of fell back off there toward the end of the race, but see if it works out for the 94. Zach Hall finding the way around the 88 there of Trey Jackson as he goes to the inside here of Will Bustler. Not the preferred line, I think, to make these passes. We've seen how hard it is to make passes on the bottom and how much of a momentum you can keep on that top, and going to have to give that spot up and watch as Bustler closes in on his teammate.
Closing in every little bit as the laps tick away, soon to be hitting 40 laps to go as Travis Dart trying to do what was done back in season 1 when they were in the Xfinity car. Ken Campbell got the pole, led the most laps in a 1 at this of Iowa in the 26, got the pole, has been leading the most laps and trying to get the win. We look back, Christopher Norris currently running in 14th position, trying to make his way forward, but I think the engine to tire ratio for the 38 started to show that he's just in autopilot mode, make it through, 40 laps to go.
Yeah, just got passed by Cole Sacchetti. Has a pretty decent gap back to Philip Chavez. But, the good news for Norris, without that front clip, the car's going to stay cool. Don't have to worry about the engine overheating. As when we look at Ken Campbell here in the 15, who Sam really hasn't been able to climb back up through the field after that contact he made with Brian McCann.
Talk about how track position was so crucial, and that one spin, battling for second, threw away any chance for Ken Campbell to have going for 3 in a row wins here in Iowa and to be the sole winner of this track. Instead, we'll settle back here in 23rd place unless a yellow flag comes out. And with less than 40 laps to go, I think this might be the one and only time that we're going to have to take a final commercial break of this evening as we've been watching the Full Send Racing Series. These Xfinity cars have been putting on a show. We've had a couple of big ones, but now it's the final push. Who will win here at the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs? Here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, thank you for being with us. We're going to have a quick commercial break. We'll be back right after this. Caution strikes with 30 laps to go. The field hitting pit road as it was Dalton Alexander getting caught up in a mess once again. Decent run, but it's going to be the 37 and 77 entering turn number 1. We've seen this the last couple of wrecks. Just the inside driver gets aggressive, tap, and away they go. And as they see the 37 spun around, it's going to be the 93 of Christopher Melton, who also is in the middle of that pack. Gets slight contact between himself and the 3 of Ryan Lynch and goes around as well. But the timing of this caution changes a lot. Rest of the field now gets to come into pit road, get 4 tires and fuel, and get back out there on track, which was going to be an interesting talking point. Trevor, we were just talking about it under the commercial break before the yellow flag struck of, can these drivers make it on fuel? Well, that goes out the window. We know they can make it from here.
Yeah, I mean, we were, like you said, talking about that at break. It would have been about a 100-lap run for our leaders had they been able to make it to the end from the last time they pit. And we were looking at drivers, you know, down there in the lower half of the top 10, just outside the top 10, and Jacob Grant and Brian McCann, who had pit around lap 114, as potentially maybe drivers to worry about if they could stay out and make it, and our leaders had to pit. But this caution pretty much negates all that, and now it's going to be a short little 30-lap or 28-lap shootout here, Sam, to the end of this.
And with this quick little shootout, you got to think about drivers that have been quick on the short run. Joshua Altus in the 94 has been aggressive. He'll be starting in that of 5th, but up front, Travis Dart, Zach Hall, Will Bustler, Andrew Medlin. Joshua Altus will be your top 5. 6th position is where we find Cameron Sard, Chris Stitz, Brian McCann in 8th. 9th is Jacob Grant, and Tony Brent leading all of the Texas Speed drivers, and Tyler Thomas in 11th. And they are going to be hoping for more carnage to strike to get up front. And surprisingly, thought maybe they could make it to the end. Cedric Hunter, who was running inside of the top 10 before that yellow flag came out, he has to call it a night. Issues for the 7 strikes under this yellow.
Not sure what happened to Cedric. Was looking for, I believe, what would have been his first top 10 of the season, maybe his second top 10 of the season, but Cedric, unfortunately, coming maybe with some mechanical issues, going to take that 7 machine out of a good run here tonight.
And I was talking about it. Can these engines make it to the end? Because a lot of drivers have been getting a lot of front end damage for themselves and trying to get back in the mix. I think Cedric trying to get back into this race. There'll be a lot of different factors. I know also VR could be an issue for some drivers. VR dropping has caused some drivers to have to back out of the session, get back in, causing them to go multiple laps down. You hate to see that for Cedric Hunter, who's trying to get back into his car, but it's going to be 2 laps down. And with the amount of laps that are left, the potential cautions, it's not looking likely he's going to get back onto the lead lap. But top 10 drivers, talking about them, 6th of them back. What a selection of drivers. Besides Brian McCann, everyone else, what a great recovery run or a surprise run at this moment.
I mean, Jacob Grant, we've seen that 19 half speed just not had the luck in the finishes for himself. Having a great run up there in 9th. Tony Brent, our Daytona winner. I mean, we haven't talked much about him since Daytona. Been caught up in some issues for himself throughout the course of the last couple of weeks. Having a great run inside the top 10. His teammate, Tyler Thomas, just right outside the top 10 as well. Philip Chavez sitting there. Cole Sacchetti, even with missing half his race car, is up there looking for maybe a top 10 finish here as well.
I mean, all hoping for a good run, but it's going to be a 25-lap shootout on who's going to win here tonight for the Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs. If you're just joining us now, what a good time to join. We've had 2 big ones that have collected over 20 vehicles combined. And will they be able to make it to the end of this race? Let's find out. Into the restart zone, our pole sitter, the dominator of the night, is Travis Dart, already launching into teammates. 2, 3, Zach Hall to the inside. Medlin's gonna watch as Zach Hall trying to muscle his way on the inside to go for the lead position.
Is Zach Hall going to be aggressive early on, trying to get to this 26? Caution's out.
Caution's out, and it's gonna be Christopher Melton, Sam Siegel, and others, and another driver on this roof. And it's going to be, I believe, going to be Melton on his roof on the backstretch.
Make that 4 drivers? It is Melton in the 93 who's turtled himself halfway down the back straightaway. And I think that makes 4, Sam, 4 upside down cars that we've seen here tonight at Iowa.
And it was contact between the 3 of Ryan Lynch and Melton. They were the 2 drivers that had issues coming to the end of the last incident. You see the 3 completely loses the rear end, comes down into melts in, and Texas Speed have to be careful as the 93 gets pushed down. Jay Becker trying to slide by, but oh, it's Valechka giving the contact.
Yeah, Valechka just nowhere to go. I think that's the 5 of John Dart right there that might get into the side of the 93 as he tries to get woed down. As you see the 27 of Pete Dillon go around.
Backing up.
And
Oh,
there
and
it
it's
is.
Dolan's little tap that turtles the 93.
Yeah, just that little tap, and upside down goes the 93. Sam Siegel in the 55 stopped Ryan Lynch in the 3. There goes John Dart after watching that unfold right in front of him. The 37 of Alexander goes by.
I think this one might be a little bit more interesting to watch on live viewing of live speed, not slow-mo. Kind of get a sense of what Dalton Alexander's pace was. Because in slow-mo, it looks like a slow breeze. And you're seeing everyone going left, right, and center, slowing down on the brakes. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, well, it's time to flip the 93 around, and let's get away from the accident. Wasn't there. Let's wipe my hands, and Dalton Alexander's gone.
Wasn't me. It was the 5 of John Dart. I promise I'm going to get out of here. And we're going to go fix this race car up a little bit more and see if we can maybe get a position or 2. But definitely there in live speed, Sam, a little bit quicker speed there for the 37 to assist the 93 over onto his roof. And just like that, we'll reset, re-rack him. And hey, for Cedric Hunter, back into his car, I believe. Actually, no, does not look like that issue resolved for himself. So he's going to be done for the night. I was thinking for Cedric, that quick caution could have helped him out, but doesn't look like he had that issue resolved.
No, it doesn't. And Cedric just typed in the chat letting us know VR deciding it doesn't want to work anymore. You hate it. That has been an issue, though, for VR drivers. VR allows you, if you don't know what that is, it's a virtual reality goggle set that you put on. It allows you to feel like you're actually in the cockpit. You can look left, right, and it feels like you're actually in the vehicle. It gives you a very good depth of field. But there's the downside of sometimes it just doesn't work. It sometimes just in the middle of the race will disconnect, and it is difficult for drivers to just see the races come to an end for some that have been having great nights. And just like that 7 who has been doing a lot in Start Park in the beginning of the season because of the fact that he was running in a different league, was trying to come back and run full time, make really a daring push to make the playoffs. At this point, might have to be a win to get into the playoffs if you're that 7 machine in these first 5 races. It just have not been it for Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, just had some tough luck in these couple of races that he's been running full time, and hopefully for that 7 machine we can see him bounce back next week and get those issues sorted out. I mean, we know the Cedric from other leagues, he has the speed to run up front. Just hasn't had that luck, but we'll have to wait and see if he can get that. But Sam, Zach Hall, he looked aggressive there on that last restart. Will he get the job done on this one?
He's going to be open for it. It's going to be less than 20 laps to go. And with the field getting ready to get that 1 to go marker. Trevor, I was just looking at the numbers for the amount of drivers. We've had a lot of big ones here tonight. Drivers that have been caught up in messes, that have had to pit multiple times to get repairs done. For some drivers, 4 leaders, they've only had to pit 3 times because they've been out of damage. They've been able to stay up front. Well, of our front drivers, only 8 of the 39 that started here tonight have pitted just 3 times. The rest of the field have had to pit an extra time to get repairs done. A shocking number to see is right on board with Travis Dart, getting himself prepared. He's got his camera, talking to his team, trying to get those knowledges in. What could be the last kind of hoorah moments, pumping yourself up, strategy calls, coming to less than 20 laps to go on this restart.
Yeah, just trying to go through everything here on this restart. He's got to get a good jump, but I think he's got to defend that bottom line a little bit from the 32, and he's got to hope that Will Bustler can go to battle with the 32, maybe hold him up. It was Medlin and Zach that were side by side last time. They went a little bit easy since their teammates. We'll see what happens here on this restart as the pace car pulls off.
Open for a good launch. We get to see the driver taking off, getting through the gears, a little bit of a shuffle. You can see the middle of the pack. Jacob Grant, major shunt all around. Cole Sacchetti wasn't able to get rolling, but up front, the 26 able to pull off Zach Hall and the run off the corner. Hall was hoping to get the better run off. Instead, it's Dart keeping the lead in Medlin, trying to dive it down low for third. They're going to be 3 wide for second place, stacked 3 wide as they come out of the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, Bustler being aggressive was looking to maybe get to the inside of Zach Hall, not able to get it done. So there's a 12 of Medlin, but Travis did exactly what he needed to do. Went down and covered Zach Hall on that bottom line on that restart, was able to hold off that momentum. And now going to try to see if he can drive away. This is going to be a short run for himself. So he's got to drive away here. But Bustler, he's looking to be aggressive. Sam trying to close in on that 32 of Zach Hall. Cameron Sart to the inside of the 94 of Joshua Altus. That's a battle for 5th down the front straightaway.
Trying to make that pass as quickly and as cleanly as possible with these drivers recognizing, hey, you want to get aggressive. You want to get every position you can. But also a notion of your tires are going to be right at the end of this. Well, take it back. We'll talk about strategy later. Caution flag is out. Ken Campbell caught up in this one. Exit of turn 2 for the 15.
And again, another one of those drivers where just a bad night continues to get worse. I think he was caught up a little bit, Sam, in that last caution as well with Ryan Lynch and those guys. And another looks like spin here for Ken Campbell. And it's going to have to reset him one more time.
Just like the last handful of cautions, entry of turn 1, that's going to be the 11 of Tyler Thomas, who's going to come in aggressively, taps the 15 of Ken Campbell. Campbell goes around, oncoming traffic's got to be careful, but we stay on the 15 because, woohoo! Peter Dillon trying a little bit of a different run on the outside for the 27. Luckily did not T-bone Ken Campbell, who's been T-boned maybe the most out of all the drivers so far in just 5 races this season.
Yeah, it's been a lot there for Ken. And had Peter Dillon made contact with him, who knows, Sam, we might have seen our 5th car upside down here tonight at Iowa, but thankfully that didn't happen. And Campbell able to get rolling again. Not sure how much damage overall he has. I know we've seen him through the grass. He's been involved in a couple of incidents. I believe, think back to the big one in turn 3. I think he got some contact in that one. The previous caution on the back straightaway had some contact in that. So the 15's definitely beaten and battered, but maybe he can get a couple of positions here before the end of this race.
Open for it as Travis Dart continues to be up front, not expecting to come into pit road. If you're any of these drivers, then you've made your bed, you're laying in it for the rest of this race. But if we do get a late caution with 5 or less laps to go, we do have overtime if needed. We got 3 attempts, and the way this race is going, some of these aggressive moves, tire wear is going to get less and less as this run progresses forward. Those overtime attempts might be looking a lot more usable as we inch closer and closer, as it's going to be less than 15 laps to go and we go green. Going to be a little bit closer to, believe, 12 laps to go once we officially get rolling.
Yeah, it's going to be another short little sprint, and these could just be sprints, Sam. It could come down to, can you get a good restart, hold off your position for 3 or 4 laps, and maybe there's another caution. This could turn into one of those situations where cautions breed cautions, and it's going to come down to these restarts, who can get the better launch and hold off the guys behind them.
And if you're Zach Hall, you're hoping that you can get the launch out of the corner, exit at 2, and at least have a nose ahead, and then hope bank on a caution flag to come out, because Travis Dart's just been too strong on the outside. You might have to go to that 3rd lane if you want an opportunity to make the pass, because the inside road just has not had enough speed to get ahead of Travis Dart fully. They've been able to get a nose ahead, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Zach's been able to get his nose there, hasn't been able to get clear, and for Travis, did a really good job switching up where he went in the restart zone on the last restart. We'll see if he does it again on this restart. And again, another thing I've noticed, Sam, he's taking the outside. Every chance that he's had in the lead, he's taking the outside on these restarts. We saw Ross Tatum, when he was in the lead, take the inside on the restarts. Travis definitely feeling much more comfortable on these outsides, though, on these restarts.
Well, we're about to get ourselves ready to get rolling. Pace car lights are still on for this field, so we're going to go another pace lap around, and it's going to be Travis Dart, Zach Hall, Will Bustler, Andrew Medlin, Joshua Altz is your top 5. Cameron Sargent being 6th, Kristen 7th, 8th is the 8 machine, Brian McCann, and then it's Tony Brent, Jacob Grant, your top 10. Brent, like you know, Don, one of his best runs he's had since his Daytona win in a shocking, dramatic fashion. If you haven't gone back to see that finish, go check out our top 5 finishes of the month. It took number 1, sorry to be the spoiler, but it was that great of a finish. And that Daytona night in general was probably some of the best racing you could have asked for.
I mean, it wasn't just the finish of that race that was number 1. There were 3 other finishes that were all, or at least 2 from the 2 heat races that were all part of that number 1 spot on our best finishes of the month. But I mean, that race in general, Sam, I mean, you think the heat race is the stage finish, and then the finish of that race, What a story that one was, and what a story the season's been. I mean, every race has had its drama, its ups and downs. And it's kind of you know, from pit strategy to late race restart drama to everything, and shaping up to have another good storyline here tonight at Iowa.
Bearing to see who can get it done here at Iowa. Is it going to be the drivers that have been up front all night long, or could it be a little bit of a similar mistake? We saw front runners get into one another when Brandon Colley, Ross Tatum made contact that brought out our second big one of the night. Or could we see some clean racing for our front drivers? Travis Start, Zach Hall, both looking for their first win of the season. And looking at past winners, only one that's up front is that of Brian McCann, who's up front in 7th. Next driver is Tony Brett in 10th. Maybe find a little bit of that magic that they're hoping for. But it's going to be 11 laps to go into the restart zone. The Iowa Corn 190 is back underway. Travis Stark got a good launch with Zach Hall to the quarter panel. He'll be side by side through 1 and 2.
As Zach Hall got it, probably the best launch out of everybody on that restart. They're going to be side by side first for first out of the corner, side by side for second and third. Down the back straightaways, Travis Dart, is he going to be able to hold on? Will he get the drive off the top here? Out of 3 and 4, he's going to get the drive off, clear the 32, coming to the line. Travis Dart holds on to the lead.
10 laps to go, and Zach Hall got the run that was necessary, but he only had a nose ahead for maybe 2 seconds of that lap. He gets another massive run off the exit of turn 2, duck it down low. Zach Hall hoping for the slide job if he can get it done, but Travis Dart just carrying so much more speed on the entry and through the center. He's able to keep the momentum up. 3 and 4 is all Travis Dart currently.
I think Travis, he just needs to hold on, protect that outside groove. Don't let them get to your outside as the battle behind them heats up. But here comes Zach Hall. He's got the momentum. He's looking to the outside. He's going to be there, Sam, halfway down the back straightaway.
Finally got to the outside lane. Got the run that was necessary. But can Zach Hall keep it side by side? Dart trying to keep the quarter panel, hoping to slide up. But Zach Hall has the run side by side across the line. Zach Hall in the premium position to take the lead spot. But Dart recognizing where he needs to be, but was too aggressive in the corner. He lost the rear end. Zach Hall has the nose.
And then here comes Medlin. Zach Hall clear. Here comes Andrew Medlin. Battle for second, but Travis Dart going to drive it in hard. Into 3 and 4, he's going to drift up just a little bit, but Zach Hall going to have the momentum. Travis Dart going to try to cover off the 12, not going to be able to do so. It's a battle for second now. Can Dart get back by the 12 of Andrew Medlin and have another shot at the 32 of Zach Hall?
He needs to get to that outside lane if Dart is going to have a chance to fight back. 7 laps to go, side by side. Across the line was last time, and Zach Hall finally able to fully commit to the pass, and now Travis Dart just settling, losing ground, finally able to get in front of the 12, and this is the chance to fight back, but that little bit of an accordion effect helps up the 1. Will Bustler diving down low, trying to go for the 3rd place position.
Aggressive move there by Travis Dart to cut in front of the 12 of Medlin, but a move that he needed to make. That's going to be Medlin, Bustler side by side for 3rd. Can Travis run down this 32 machine? Here comes the 17 of Chris Stitz with a big move to the inside of Cameron Sarton as they battle for 5th and 6th position. Is our, basically from 3rd on back, all side by side, but Bustler going to tuck back in line behind the 12 of Medlin to see if he can do anything here. Is almost a little bit of contact made, but it's Zach Hall pulling away from the field.
5 laps to go. Top 6 drivers all within a second of one another. And Zach Hall is trying to pull away. Last lap was a 10th faster. This go around, Travis Dart is trying to figure out any way to close in the gap. It was 3/10 across the line there. And it's just slight advantage goes to Travis Dart. But there's 4 laps to go. And at that rate, the 26 will not be able to pass Zach Hall.
Yeah, just got to keep closing in. Got a really good drive there. At turn number 2, closing that gap. Can he get another good drive through 3 and 4? This has been his strong suit all night long. He just can't afford to overdrive, give up time. Looks like he might have gotten in a little bit too deep. See if he can get the run off and continue to close this gap. 3 to go this time by.
Another little bit closed in, 2/10 on the entry of the corner. Travis Dart has been closing each and every lap. Zach Hall has to find a way to defend for 5 more corners as the entry of turn number 3, the 26, diving it, the aggression, the speed is there. He's right on the back bumper. 2 laps to go here at Iowa.
2 laps to go, across the line, going into 1 and 2. Will we see the bumper used? Also, lap traffic up in front of these guys. You got the 93, the 99, the 44 of Valechka, Colley, all these guys in front, and Travis Dart going to have to almost get out of the gas. Colley's going to get out of the way. The 93 of Melton, though, he might be the thorn in the side of the 26 out of turn number 4. They come into the white flag.
Coming to the white flag and cross the line. Lap traffic out of the way. It's your next level racing white flag. Travis Dart has one more chance. He's going to run high through 1 and 2, trying to build the momentum, get the launch, get as close as he can to the rear bumper. But Zach Hall 3/10 ahead. The lap traffic was just what was needed. The 26 sends it into turn 3, but not close enough. Zach Hall, the champion of last season, is back in the victory lane. The 32 wins here in Iowa.
What a drive from Zach. Breaks the statistics. We were talking about it earlier. Gets the win here tonight. But, I mean, the perfect move, did everything he needed to do. Got to the outside of Travis Dart. Was able to hold off a charge there from Travis in the 26. And Zach Hall ends up in victory lane. But, I mean, hats off to Travis Dart. Speed all night long. Gave it everything he had. Just gave up that outside line at the worst time there, Sam.
It was just one mistake that was put there, the opening, and Zach Hall, champion of last season, had 7 wins last season, gets his first for season 5. The numbers line up. Number 5, add 3 and 2, you get 5, and he is your winner here for season 5, race number 5. Iowa goes to Zach Hall as he gets to have his fun in the grass. We'll be taking a small little break. When we come back, we'll be talking to our top 3 and a spotlight driver. Talking to Zach Hall, Travis Dart, Andrew Medlin, and someone else when we come back for the post-race show. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the Full Send Racing Series. Race 5 of the season is done. The Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs had some big wrecks, big moves all around, but it ultimately came down to one opening that we saw Travis Dart give to Zach Hall in the 32. Did not squander that moment, took the lead, and last season's champion is back into victory lane. Zach Hall and Sam and Trevor up the booth. Congratulations for getting the win here tonight. Just took you 5 races, and you're back into victory lane.
Yeah, excited after that to get a win. It's probably one of my least favorite wins because I first off just got to give a shout out before I give a shout out to Travis because the race he ran. Huge shout out to Ken Campbell, my teammate, because I came in here with practice, ran laps, and I personally felt like tonight was going to be just get what I can. And he told me what he was doing with the brake bias, and that was a huge benefit for me. I immediately found some speed and was able to qualify well, and pretty much just took that race as it was coming. Was trying to be good on the long run. I think we were, but you had to save so much to be strong enough because those top 2 up front were just so fast. So to come out here with the win at Iowa after I don't think I was a first place car at all. I think I was probably a 3rd or 4th tonight. So to come out with the win, we'll definitely have a smile on our face.
I mean, Zach, well, I mean, walk us through that battle there with Travis in those last couple of laps. We saw him, give you a little bit of space. You got to the high side. I mean, just what was going through your head as you got by him and then trying to hold off his late charge there?
Well, I kind of figured something out in that run right before that when we had the caution with 30 to go. I was starting to click a little away from him once I got to second, and I don't know if I would have ran him down. I don't think so, and I really don't think I would have been able to pass him, especially with the old tires that have been so tough. But I figured out in 2 just a little something that could help me get a really good launch up out the corner if I just waited a little longer. And it seemed like other guys were really rolling the center with too much speed, and it kind of killed their exit. So I was trying to set him up a little bit and just make him think I was going to do different things. And I think I caught him off guard by backing up the corner so much that he didn't really think he had to jump in it, where I backed it up so much that I could almost get full throttle by the center of the corner. So when I saw the outside open, I knew I had to take it. And I hate that it had to be Travis that I had to get that from. But, I mean, he raced me clean. I can't give him any more credit than how fast he was tonight and how much I wanted to see him win the race, but, I couldn't give it to him.
Couldn't give it to him. And Zach, I know me personally, we were starting to bring up your trends from last season, how it felt like it was every 8 races from the last time that you won. That's when you'd get your next win. Did you hear us up at the booth? Because we started talking about that trend right before you really hit that switch, starting to move your way forward. And how does it feel to get this win and that momentum through the rest of the season?
The win's huge. The momentum's huge, especially I've just been struggling in the car. But no, I didn't get to hear none of that. I try to focus on the race. I know some guys watch the broadcast while they're racing. I got to give them credit for multitasking. I'm not that good. So didn't hear y'all, but I could hear Trevor always in the back of my head, just whispering to me that, come on, Zach, you haven't won in a while. And, he'll bring up them trends. So it's definitely in the back of my mind. But, man, it's just good momentum. Some huge confidence heading into Homestead, where I think our intermediate and 1.5 mile stuff will be pretty good. So I'm excited to see how I run there. And I mean, a win now makes the pressure off of me for points because we weren't having a great points run. So it's a good night to come out of Iowa with a win.
Certainly does help you out. You're going to be the 4th different winner this season. Congratulations on that. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours.
Well, first off, shout out to my teammates at Freaky Fast Racing. Excellent group to race with there at King Campbell. Like you said, for his brake bias adjustment, Andrew got the top 3 tonight. That's great for him. Me and him had good runs there together, and we were really working well, letting each other by. So I gotta give him a huge shout out for always racing me clean there, Andrew, and also Christopher Norris. I know he didn't have a great night. Got caught up in some stuff. Same for Ken, but always good teammates and motivate me. Even telling me right when we come down to the last restart, go get him, Zach. So it's always good to have someone that's got your back when it comes down to those last few moments. And shout out to the league sponsors, all they do here at Full Send. It's always a pleasure to go race with these guys. It's, like I said, always one of the best groups I've ever raced with in all my iRacing career, and I feel like I've been doing this for a pretty long time now. So definitely says a lot for them. And then last but not least, you guys up in the booth for all y'all do, and can't wait to go back and watch and see how that one broke down.
It certainly was a crazy race. Congratulations on getting it done here tonight, Zach, and good luck next week.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that is going to be your winner here tonight from Victory Lane. We go from disheartening to second place. We bring in Travis Dart into the booth. The 26 dominated tonight, but the late race pass allowed Zach All to get the win. Travis, I mean, you looked incredible tonight. Still a strong run that you got to say and keep over yourself. But man, I hate to ask the question, but how are you feeling after this one?
Oh, very, very crappy. I don't even. I'm just frustrated. I mean, good win on Zach because passing was very hard tonight, and I I just screwed up and gave it to him. It was my only my fault. Zach passed me very clean and just very frustrated. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, Travis, understandable in the frustration, but some positives to take away from tonight. I mean, the long run speed looked fantastic tonight. You were able to keep up with Ross there at the first half of the race, able to pull away there a little bit towards the end, then before the flurry of cautions. Qualifying times have been good. I mean, the overall pace this season looking a lot more consistent. I mean, is that some kind of consolation to take out of here at least tonight?
Yeah, a little. I'm not excited for next week because I'm usually very bad at Homestead, but if I can have a good race there, then maybe I just have something going for me this season. Um, yeah, yeah, I like the long run speed. It was very good tonight. I didn't put too much practice in, so it was very surprising, but yeah, I don't really know what else I could have done. I just messed up.
I know it was a simple mistake. You hate to have it happen, but still a strong day for yourself, Travis. And moving forward, I mean, how has it been? We talked about in these last time we talked to you on the fact of you've been growing more in the long run. You've been finding a lot of speed, but qualifying. I mean, you got your second pole in a row. How do you feel like the track position has been helping you in these future races? And do you feel like you can continue with the poles? I know you, like you said, weren't confident about next week, but how do you feel like you can carry that forward in the future races?
I mean, getting the pole definitely helps just because, like, at some tracks, getting the poles definitely help just because I know I don't have the long run speed. So at least I'll like go backwards, but at least I won't be going backwards from 10th. I'd be going backwards from first. So, yeah, I mean, had good starting positions last season as well, but just wasn't good at tire saving this season. Better at tire saving and doing a bit better, just more comfortable in the Xfinity car. I'll be putting practice in for qualifying for sure, just because I know I'm not as strong there.
Still a strong day, and Travis, it makes us more excited on what you're going to bring later on in the season. Congratulations on second, and before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the drivers. It was kind of a hectic night tonight. 11 cautions for 53 caution laps. We have to clean that up. A lot of people were being very aggressive from the sound of it, so not excited to go back and look at those cautions. But appreciate our sponsors. Tonight's sponsor, Impact Sim Design. So if you're looking for a paint scheme, make sure to go check them out. And ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, Excessive Speeds, Sim Racing, Grim Sim Studio, On the Throttle Podcast, Red Customs, family that's watching, and my teammates, Brian, who had a not so good night, Doug, who ended up in 18th, fighting his way back, and Philip with a strong 15th as well.
Solid day overall for those that were able to recover. For yourself, still got to take kudos. Congratulations on a second place finish, and good luck going into next week there, Travis.
Appreciate it.
Well, from second place, we go to third, where we get to talk to that of Andrew Medlin for himself. The 12 had to work his way, kind of chipping away each and every position, and finishes out in 12th position. Andrew, certainly a wild night, a lot of cautions, but you come away in third. How are you feeling after tonight's run?
I mean, like always, when I get an interview, I'm pretty excited. So, led some laps finally for the first time in a while, ran up front, as you said, Sam, kind of chipped my way up methodically from 10th spot and, felt pretty good. I once we got going and into that race and settled in, I felt like I had a top 5 car. We got real fortunate to miss a pretty wild wreck up front. I don't know where that was, maybe halfway through the race. We haven't really had that kind of luck getting around wrecks, it seems like, this season. So that certainly worked in our favor. Obviously, unfortunate for the guys that got tagged up there that were running up front. But I mean, overall, it was a good race, aggressive race. You really had to protect that outside, and it was a little bit of give and take. I let some guys slide up in front of me and get some passes maybe easier than I should have. But we were racing respectfully and hard, and just really happy.
Andrew, I mean, touching on how difficult of a race it is. We saw it several times on your onboard camera and a couple of the other guys' webcams. How much wheel input you're having to put throughout the race, how bumpy this track is, and how rough it is on tires. I mean, just overall, your overall thoughts on just tire wear and how much of a workout this track is to get around.
It was. I can tell you first of all, when you went to the meddling cam, he probably looked focused and dialed in, hands on the wheel, very serious. But but when I was sitting there, trying to keep the car nice and stable and settled over those bumps, it was hard on the arms. I mean, that was a long race. I was telling some of the guys in the waiting room here. I mean, we almost ran out of time, I think, in the session. But it was really just smooth throttle inputs, smooth brake inputs, taking it easy on those bumps, especially down in 1 and 2 there, and protecting that outside. And I'm not, Travis, I am not known for being good at saving tires. I haven't figured out that trick that some of these other top guys are doing, and I'm really pleased and happy that even with my excessive tire wear, I was able to run competitively and hang on for a top 3.
Top 3 was grabbed. A solid night for yourself, Andrew. And before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours.
Well, first and foremost, as always, want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Sarah. I'm sure she's tuned in right now watching. Appreciate her support. My father, Bruce, who's watching right now from probably 32,000 feet somewhere over Texas. So appreciate the Wi-Fi on the plane so he could watch the Freaky Fast broadcast. My brother, Aaron. Obviously, my team at Freaky Fast Racing. We had a great night and a not so good night. Unfortunately, Ken and Chris Norris had some unfortunate incidents there, but Zach getting the win was big, and me coming on with third was fantastic. All the guys at Storm Motorsports, appreciate all their support throughout the week, and last but not least, Travis. I told Zach, we all love Zach, but he was probably the most unpopular winner this season, was really pulling for Travis Start. He's worked so hard, great driver, great admin, had a fantastic race tonight, but he'll probably he probably said it himself. He wants to earn his win, and he almost did. He keeps doing that. He's going to get it sooner or later. But yeah, and obviously the race sponsor, Impact Sim Designs, league sponsors, ButtKicker, Next Level Racing, and Reg Customs. And last but not least, you guys up in the booth at Freaky Fast Racing and doing an awesome job each and every week.
Well, it's been a pleasure to cover you, Andrew, on tonight's race. Congratulations on a third place finish. It's always a joy to talk with you. Congratulations and enjoy this week, and good luck next week.
Appreciate it, boys. See you at Homestead next week.
And that will be our third place finisher of Andrew Medlin. And we will drop down to ninth place. Spotlight driver getting his second top 10 of the season. But honestly, with the way that tonight's race, he'll take a ninth place finish. We got Jacob Grant with us. Jacob, it's Sam and Trevor up in the booth. Congratulations on another top 10 finish this season. Man, how are you feeling after a very up and down night being around a lot of that carnage?
Sam, I'm tired. My shoulder hurts. That race was very long, and it should have ended a long time ago.
I mean, Jacob, yeah, I mean, second top 10 of the season. We've seen you have speed, just caught up in some incidents throughout the course of the last couple of weeks. I mean, how are you feeling about these next couple of races coming up with Homestead, New Hampshire, and Spa?
Man, if I could stay incident free, I feel very confident in my chances of getting a top 10 every week. Now, Spa is a different story. I'm not too good at the road courses, but I'm definitely going to do everything I can to practice for that. But Homestead coming up next week, I expect another top 10. Anything less would be a failure to me. But I mean, it'll be all right, I guess. If we can stay incident free and stay out of all the carnage, I think we'll be all right.
I know this season really hasn't gone the way that you've hoped, Jacob. There's been races where you've been caught up in messes, and other nights where you're hoping to get those good finishes like you kind of had here tonight. How has the competition been for yourself? I know this is the first time we get to talk to you here in the Full Send Racing series, but how have you felt about the competition for this season and hopefully for the rest of the season?
It's definitely a lot tougher than I expected it to be, but great talent throughout the boards here in Full Send. A lot of really good drivers. If you get stuck in the very back, then I guess it's just trying to beat the impatient ones. If you can do that, then I think it's a really good league to race in, man. It's very competitive, and I like it. It'll make me better.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you out here racing. Jacob, congratulations again on a 10th place, top 10 finish for yourself. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
I'd like to shout out my 2 teammates over at S&B Motorsports, Josh Altus, Rob Sherwood, you guys for broadcasting, Travis Dart for allowing me to join in the league. Thank him for hosting the league, and everybody who does their parts to keep this league running, race control, everybody. It's a very fun experience, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, we're happy to have you out there on track, Jacob. Congratulations on 9th, and good luck next week at Homestead.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, that is going to be our interviews for tonight's race. A wild one, a lot of wrecks, messes. Drivers had to rebound, and others were not able to do so. But tonight's race, drivers are excited to see how they can push forward in tonight's run, as we're going to get ready to see what the unofficial results of tonight's Iowa Corn 190 presented by Impact Sim Designs. Travis Dart almost able to get it done for the 26 machine. Would have been his 2nd career win, his 1st in season 1. Instead, it goes to the spoiler. And Trevor, I had to say, I think a lot of drivers were upset when Zach was winning a lot and had the most wins after last season. But tonight, like we heard from Medlin, might be the most unwanted driver so far.
Yeah, it might be the most unpopular win in a while. And I mean, just you got to give hats off to Travis. I mean, he did everything he could tonight. Just that one little mistake, man, gave the opening. And again, hats off to Zach as well. I mean, he found that opening and took advantage of it. Got the win. Travis comes home 2nd. Medlin, Bustler, and Cameron Sargent, your top 5.
And those top 5 looking strong. 6 will go to Chris Stitz, Joshua Altus 7th, 8th being Brian McCann, Jake Grant 9th, and Tony Brent going to be finish out your top 10. A lot of drivers looking for strong runs. Others were caught up with mishaps. You look in the middle of the field. I mean, Ken Campbell got spun around, never was truly able to fully recover. A couple of 4 was the total number we got to of drivers that flipped and were trying to come back from those incidents but weren't able to. You look at drivers just inside of our top 30. I mean, you got Melton, who once again thought he had a chance for a good finish. Sam Siegel probably had the funniest moment of the night, trying to avoid drivers that were on their roof. But everyone further on back, Ross Tatum, that is Cedric Hunter, and also going to be Christopher Wade and Brian Wilson. The scariest moments of being tossed around and kind of being slingshot around for our first big one of the race. Bizarre wrecks we had here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just you look at this race and you would have thought that with the amount of cars and carnage that we saw, we were at Daytona or something. But no, just a little old short track Iowa, and we saw 4 cars upside down. And it all started with Christopher Wade, Brian Wilson, with the odd internet issues that led to cars going upside down and carnage everywhere in turn 1. And then we saw Brandon Colley, Ross Tatum get into one another. They kicked off another big wreck into 3 and 4. Christopher Melton goes upside down at one point down the back straightaway. I mean, it was just wild, Sam. I think we saw just about everything. We saw long green flag runs as well. This race pretty much had it all.
I think the only thing we missed was green flag pit stops for the field. That was the only thing we were missing, and we got to see the dramatic flare at the end of Zach Hull finding the one mistake that Travis Dart made all night long and capitalized to take the win. Tough night for the 26. He'll try to recover in these next couple of weeks, but for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, it's time to go to Gen 4 Racing for the rest of the week. We got tomorrow night, WSSR Roast Gens Cup Series, taking the Gen 4 Cup cars to Legacy, Texas. The 2009 configuration going to be tomorrow night. Then Thursday, Gen 4 cars for the Stars and Stripes head to Nashville Super Speedway to get to Music City and see who can conquer the concrete. More action as well going to be after the weekend. Monday night, ISRC Truck Series. They've got 2 more races left before the playoffs begin for those drivers on Monday night. For right back here for that of Homestead, Miami Speedway going to be next week's race. Certainly should be a good one, and plenty of great action, Trevor, that we get to cover here on Freaking Fast Broadcasting.
Plenty of great action. It's going to be a good, fun week to tune in and watch. And definitely looking forward, Sam, to getting back here next Tuesday night to see what New Hampshire's got in store for us.
What do the Xfinity cars have to conquer? We'll have to find out next week. But for tonight, for us here up here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining with us on your Tuesday evening. My name was Sam Dyer. Joining with me in the booth was Trevor Earhart. Running productions was Robert Moyer Jr. And for everyone else here at Freaking Fast Broadcasting, thank you for joining. And we will see you on our next Freaky Fast broadcast tomorrow night. It's the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series drivers, Gen 4 at Texas. Who's going to find the speed down at that of the 09 configuration? Who knows who can get it done? But that will be our next Freaky Fast broadcast.